Hey, welcome back to Métropole Grid. Oh my god, it's bright in this room. Why is it that bright? Everything's so bright. Wake up, babe. It's that time of the year where we start an hour early just to mess with the Europeans. Daylight savings time happened. So we're now an hour early. That will remain that way for like, I think a couple weeks. I don't know when Europe does daylight savings, but we just lost an hour. I'm in, is this heaven? Everything's just glowing. I have the blinds closed on the windows. It shouldn't be like It's March 11th, 2025. Hopefully you're doing well. It's a Tuesday stream. We started actually a bit late for what it's worth. We had some technical difficulties. The camera was moving at like 4 frames a second. I figured it out. I had to unplug it and replug it. Take that, computer science degree. How's everyone doing? Daojen, how you doing? Brennan, it's the grid. Sandarian said, this is Bob. Sandarian, how's it going? I think that was probably on Bad Boy, or it's called Moon by Bad Boy, or Bad Boy by Moon. It's hard to say. I don't think these are well labeled. The best part of Wake Up Call is Cezve in your cup. Phil, how's it going? I listened to the recent ShadowNet for a while. I don't know why my Spotify doesn't push it to me when there's a new one out. So I have to like word of mouth. Someone's like, did you listen to the new ShadowNet? I'm like, no, I'll do that now. And I had a good time. Hopefully you're well. Cezve, Waking Plant, and Alarm Clock in that order, yes. Hey Kaku, another week, another Netrunner tournament live streamed, and another UK meta being weird. This weekend it was all up and mostly Hoshika in the UK scene. I wanted to ask how that was. It was one of the districts southeast, I think. I know Ba did a small stream talking about it yesterday. I haven't had time to sit down and watch it, but apparently it was streamed. I didn't get to see this live, but this is on Kaku Rainbow Games. I'll include this in the description as I normally do, but you have like a 10.5-hour live stream to go over from the weekend. It looks good. We do 720, new 720 meta, but it's totally legible. I don't see why not. That looks cool. I don't know how many people showed up. If you were here, let me know if you went and how you went. I was waiting for Lucille, but Lucille might not know that we're an hour early today. Such is the world. Axon, how's it going? Yo, Changeling, how's he doing as well? Good morning. Does the UK seem to be more homogenous than other metas? I'm not sure. The UK has like certain things that they do that other people don't as heavily, that's for sure. It's weird now because it feels like I can describe anything and convince myself that's a UK meta, like weird little data point. But the UK meta has classically liked AWP a heck of a lot. I think AWP sees way more play in Europe than it does in America, barring like certain niche AWP players. Classically NBN, obviously like as Mari, that's a big UK thing. Neurospike is Mari, but just like NBN in general, like tag NBN has been pretty big over there. Criminal was showing up a lot in some of the last regionals that we saw. Like it was like half, if not more, of the top cut was just like aggressive run-based criminals at one of the events last weekend. Like the thing is, like, it's testing teams as well to some extent, right? Like if EA Sports says like Ashniko is the deck to beat, and then there's like 8 players playing Ashniko, like that'll just do it if you have testing teams that are like focused on one area. So that's a bunch of things for sure. Eric, how's it going? What's up, Gridsters? How you doing? I had a good fun on the Sunday stream. Hopefully you're well. In fairness, my understanding is that the Scotland meta is very different from the England meta. However, I also understand that it's more degenerate. Abolish daylight savings. This is the, like, I don't like it because I don't like losing an hour, but it's nice that it's bright out at like 6 or 7. Like there's something to that. Obviously that happens naturally slowly, but like it's a mixed thing, that's for sure. Hey, Jello Shots, how's it going? For some reason, thought DST was just a dumb US thing. No, we do too. I imagine that if we both stop doing it, we'll stop doing it together. I think there's interest to like stop doing daylight savings and just stay on one of the two. I don't know which one's meant to be the normal one and which one's like +1 hour or -1 hour. But yeah, I have no doubt that in our lifetimes, they'll stop doing it at some point. I don't know if it just takes one person to be like, I'm not going to do it. And then like the other countries are like, well, if you're not doing it, I can't do it because it makes no sense. I'm assuming it'll be something like that. Technical genius. Canada copies the US on a lot of stuff. Yeah, probably. Well, definitely. Well, some things. The conversation about that, we're definitely copying the US in some ways. That's for sure. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Reading this time, 10.5 hour live stream. Reading this time. I know I said this Reading, then I read the comment and I thought it said reading. I thought you were reading that this says 10.5 hours. How was it? Did you have a good time running it? Were you on comms for 10.5 hours? It looks like you had some people just hopping on. This is Theo and Kaku Rainbow. This is Kaku Rainbow and Theo still. But yeah, I guess we're not gonna spoil the ending. I'm gonna look at a bit of the standings though after. This is really cool. Redding mentioned meet there. How's it going? I got 4-3 again, and all my matches were nail biters. Hey, glad you had a good time. Assuming that means a good time. They were so hilarious from the ShadowNet. They wouldn't put Worlds on a small island next to Europe. Hey, Gilhar. Yeah, the ShadowNet's like, it's weird. Like their Canadian stuff really good, and then confidently not knowing a lot about Europe also very good. It's all over the place. It's really interesting. Andre, can we show something NANPC related? I think we can, Sandarin. What are you talking about? You talking about like a little alt art that I ordered this weekend? Hey, David, how's it going? Had an interesting game of Netrunner last night. Turns out that Midnight Arcology isn't a May draw 3, but draw 3. Yeah, it's forced, which is bad when they only have 2 cards left in R&D. I have been in that situation. I'm glad that you found yourself in there as well. But Midnight 3 Arcology is not optional. And so when I play like against S or something where like your deck gets really challenged, this is a forced draw. If it was May, it would feel really bad not scoring this, but it still means that this would be like technically a benefit you could get on certain turns, but it is not optional. And this, I've been in situations where scoring this would lose the game. It has genuinely happened before. Enjoy. It's good fun. We had a good time playing Glazy game and being silly on Sunday. I hope it's Hams related. I think it is Hams related. The recent Scotland tournament was like 8 PE players and 20 players. Oh, yeah, that is true. I did see that. I think it was like mostly criminal at the top and then like half of it was PE. And for what it's worth, like I do think that is also to do with the fact that personal evolution is rotating. Like if you told me to go in an event, I would probably like knee jerk play personal evolution if I didn't have anything like particular that I wanted to play, just because PE, I think Loud has been really, really fun. And a lot of people are doing well with Loud decks in the last like months, but also like there's an incentive to play your favorite identities, favorite in, you know, quotes to some extent, that are rotating. So I do think a lot of people are incentivized to play things like personal evolution. So it's like doubly so. Obviously, come Worlds, there's no PE, so who knows what's going to happen. Top cut of Austin District was 4 HB. Well, was it this week in Toronto? Did you go out? How was it? Also, that's sick. Yeah. Go HB. Honestly, hey, Solomir, daylight savings was a bit more welcome this year as it meant I had to spend 1 less hour getting rained on at camp. Oh no, what kind of camp are you doing? Are you camping? Are you camping with like younger folks or? Sorry about the rain, but that's how the West Coast goes, isn't it? They have time to find a new kill combo until October. Hey, Nacho. Yeah, they've got a while. Everyone has a while to figure this stuff out. I net decked the Mad Op and spent yesterday blowing people up on JNet and still feel dirty about it. Yes. Hey, do you know what came up the other day that I found like really comforting in a certain way? Is Nick Mason on Neon Static was talking about an event that he went to or was going to go to. I forget, but he's talking about events. And he said specifically he was like considering playing triple deep dive Sable, right? And that's the deck for what it's worth, like a bunch of snare bears brought to worlds. It did very well, came in like unfortunately 17th, didn't make the cut, but it's a good deck, right? And deep dive is really, really strong. Whether you want to play it in criminal or where they might not expect it or a shaper, that's up to you. But deep dive is really, really good. And Nick's feedback, and again, I don't want to put words in his mouth, so I have to be very careful what I'm saying here. But basically, he didn't want to do it because it didn't feel like playing Netrunner. And like that is something about deep dive that has just been a bummer for me that I also entirely like sympathize with. Is that there's certain strategies and certain win conditions that just feel like they lack the sort of nuance I want in a game. And I think Nick said something really that I like, but I won't be able to quote it because I watched this like a week ago. No, it's like 3 days ago, but still. About it's not like, you know, you best the corp, you do something clever. No, it's just I'm gonna run all 3 centrals and then just rip 8. And like it's a weird thing that I'm not heavily incentivized to play deep dive decks because while it can convert really well, I feel like it lacks the nuance I want. Am I my own worst enemy? Maybe. Is this a value neutral statement? Heavens no. But it's weird, isn't it? And I'm glad that someone else has said it the way that I wish I did, because that is exactly the issue I have with a bunch of cards. This is one of them for sure. He felt guilty for wins using deep dive. That's the thing. I feel guilty. I feel like I didn't do anything. It's like, of course you're not icing archives. I ran HQ, run R&D. There's 2 ice. I'm shaper or criminal. Like I'm inside jobbing one of them and I'll see 8. What are you gonna do about it? Silly? Oops. Like I don't get it. I don't understand this at all. As opposed to like, you know, the multi-axis Andre thinks is good and fair and fun is Stargate, where we both control the narrative of the game. And you get 1 Stargate a turn, and you're probably not going to win, and the corporation has so many ways to interact with it. Please don't mention Crisium Grid. I feel like mutually assured destruction falls into the camp, is why I bring that up. Like, I don't think I like mutually assured destruction decks because I just feel like it lacks the sort of nuance that I feel good doing this to someone. Again, that's not a value neutral statement. What I think doesn't actually matter, but you know what I mean? We're talking about ob dominance. UK players love their bro. They really do. They really do. And it's a good thing they can enjoy Weyland for the next month before it becomes terrible. We had too many talking points, but I'm like convinced that Weyland is going to be just butt awful after rotation. There's just like, it's going to rotate back to like 2014 where nobody's going to know what to do with it. The winter one is the standard one, and the one we switched to is daylight savings. I hope we wind up on the latter. You want to wind up like it is now. Cold Lava, how's it going, by the way? Hey, VK, I prefer switching. Don't want my kids going to school when it's pitch black. Yeah, like this seems okay to me. Like I like that it's, I'm not an early morning person. Wait, so maybe I'm arguing the opposite. I don't know what happened in the morning. I was asleep. Andre, new article just dropped. Yes, might be art related. Okay, hold on. I know I mentioned a topic, but I'm behind on chat, so we'll come back to it. So when I read your comment and I'm lacking context, it's because of the linear nature of time. All right, NANPC this year, New Jersey is the first announced state. That's the 12th of April. That's in a month. That is a district championship. It looks like Montreal will probably be attached to our mega city, which should be in late June, early July is my guess, but we'll let you know. NANPC 2025 prizes, 11th March 2025. We get a look at some shiny things, and this is the start of it. This is from Matthias Kalza. This is the Charlotte Casador. Let me uncover it slightly. So this is the participation prize. I ordered some of these this weekend. You can advance this asset. I like the change in the, this is different. The text box, like the fermenter look different. I like this text box. So you know what Charlotte does? This is Charlotte art. If I'm not mistaken, this person in the background is Hams. Hams was the NANPC winner as of last year. Hams' name, yeah, Feet 2024 NANPC champion Ryan Hamsberg. So that's Ryan in the background watching over Charlotte do her stuff, which is pretty sick. So this is going to be the participation prize this year. If you go to an NANPC event, you get a full play set of these. Shout out to, I need to, like, I'm still waiting on this stuff, but I ordered it this weekend. Netrunner cards on it. But Man of the Moon, Abraham, has put together this website called netrunnercards.net, and it's a way that tournament organizers can get access to cards. And so this resource has been locked was actually the NANPC thing. So I ordered it through here and it was entirely free, which is pretty sick. It's a nice way to organize things so NANPC organizers can get stuff. But I also ordered a couple of these cards for prize support for the district coming up. So it's my first time using it. Abraham was really, really quick to respond to any questions I had. And it looks like the shipping will get in probably even this week. And it wasn't that bad at all. So it's like 48 copies of Alt Art for 31 Canadian. Shipping was like 20 bucks Canadian. So I bought 2 things and then we'll be able to use them, which is really cool. This website worked, but yeah, that was behind that button, which is pretty funny. We're also awarding new dice and participation prize for NANPC. The season's dice will be orange and blue. Yeah, these are last year's dice, so they will be orange and blue, similar to this art, I imagine. This kind of orange or blue. I guess that's sort of orange. Finally, we'd like to prove a sneak preview with exclusive to NPC New Jersey artist Bark Point Studio provides a vibrant new take on a wonderful Anarch resource. I have seen this full art, and I'm not sure why I've seen this, but I've definitely seen this full art. I think somewhere on Discord. Many NPC events, this is pretty sick, are also districts or megacity events and will contain exciting prizes from those kits. Don't miss out. Yeah. So a lot of the NPC events are attached to other stuff, so they have this support on top of whatever else is there. If you're wondering what an NPC is otherwise, you can read more on the website. But the short of the long is it's just a bunch of tournaments that have additional prize support, and based off of your standings at those events, you go to the leaderboard, and the leaderboard points gives you prizes. So this was as of last season. This will be reset as of April, early April, and then the person who comes in first gets a little prize there. I'm not sure if other like top 8 people get anything, but that's all really an NPC is. It's an excuse to go out and get involved in organized play. And if you do well one NPC event, as we saw Ryan, you just show up to a couple other ones and maybe take a nice card depiction, which is pretty sick. Stream was great fun, but probably won't be doing another until Elevation because dates of tournaments don't match up. Might start some tabletop Netrunner live streams though. Oh, super cool, Keku. Let us know if you do that for sure. Great watermarking. This was Abraham this year. Yeah, this stuff is all watermarked, which is also nice. So you can't steal it. I lost a piece 6 points to 7, and I had the winning line, but didn't think the agenda was on the table. Ooh. Really hyped for Elevation. Convinced 2 friends to play Netrunner with me, and we also are destroying System Gateway until rotation. I have no doubt a lot of people are going to end up playing Elevation and System Gateway, as that's going to be their Netrunner experience. And from what I heard from NSG, they're putting a lot of focus to make that as great as it can be. System Gateway is something that I have returned to a fair few times, just playing games, like casually playing only System Gateway. And as someone who's played Netrunner for like over a decade and has all the cards, like System Gateway on its own is still a treat. Hopefully you're enjoying it. I had a great time, played some very silly decks. I think you'll enjoy playing into one of them more than the other. Uh-oh. Hey, Calypso, how's it going? What's up, Andre? So excited for Elevation. I can't listen to audio on my end somehow. We'll rewatch the stream later. Okay, so you'll hear this later. You sent me a Twitch message. I can't respond to Twitch messages. It wants my phone number. I don't know why. It has my phone number. That's what it sends me to get into the thing. So if you want to message me on Discord, that might be a bit easier. But I saw your message. I know that was a Calypso art that I pulled up on Thursday. Need to point Nick to the segment. He felt guilty for his wins. Yeah. Nick's just jealous because I won our first tournament in New Hampshire with a startup Sable 3X deep dive deck. It's okay. Deep Dive is the most entertaining card in Netrunner. The 8-card reveal is so exciting to watch. It is exciting to watch, but I feel like as a corporation, I lack the agency to be able to deal with Deep Dive in a meaningful way while also still playing the game of Netrunner. Right? Like Deep Dive would make sense if it was 2013. Where like turn 1, I ice up 2 central servers, but that's just not how the game works anymore. It just doesn't feel that difficult to do this effect. Like maybe this is the thing where we don't have, you know, Apocalypse, people are not respecting in a certain way, but I just feel like at the speed and power that runners are, it does not feel like you can sufficiently ice up against Deep Dive in a way that it makes it feel like it's earned, while still forwarding your game plan in a way that keeps you competitive with the speed of the runner, right? Like, I don't ice up centrals on turn 1. I don't think I should, because I think if I do, it's a losing plan. Compare Deep Dive to Notoriety or Quest Completed? Sure, but Quest Completed was under the curve. Notoriety was also a bit under the curve. Like, the only one that saw play was Apocalypse. Oh, I shouldn't click. And I think comparing them to something that saw no play, like, doesn't make it reasonable. Like, you're comparing to a bad card, I want to say. That being said, Notoriety and Quest Completed, the other one did see play. Like, Encore did see play, but this saw played in busted combo decks. This is the only other one like this. Joking that happened. It's frustrating how often you feel like you're winning against Deep Dive decks and then you just get blown out by 4 or 5 points in one turn. It's like also annoying because when I lose my first 2 points when they run R&D and get like a single axis because they're just touching turn 1 because they have not much else to do because they're getting lat draw, and then they steal 2 points, heaven forbid 3 points, I know I'm cooked because then they can win on a single Deep Dive. And then being on that as soon as like turn 1 or 2-2 just feels terrible, where it's like they can now fundamentally ignore the Netrunner game on the table and just Deep Dive, and Deep Dive will win them the game usually. The stats are pretty good. Seeing 8, you should steal 1.5 agendas. What if you ran all 3 centrals and then started stargating? Now we're talking. So that's what we need, Itadi. Itadi, we need to grab the Wizard's Chest and then get that for free and then start stargating. That's what we need. I mean, when I put a boarding control on HQ against Deep Dive, I mean, any Deep Dive deck doesn't care about boarding control that much. And when you put boarding control on HQ against Shaper, like, who's laughing? I like Deep Dive without the extra click clause. Yeah, maybe me too. Maybe that would help. Is this a full bore rejection of June's love for haymakers? Sort of, but not necessarily. I'm glad now we're talking about this that I've caught up on chat. It's like I do think some of the Haymaker cards are really, really cool. Like I think Burner is just such a fascinating card. I think some of the friction alongside Burner is that it is one of the best HQ pressure cards we've ever seen, and it's obviously in Shaper, which like that rubs people the wrong way, myself included. But this is like an interesting card. This card on its own feels like it has a bunch of counterplay enacted. Also, like runners can use this well, they can use this poorly. People can like beef this into Spin Doctor. They can put cards on top of the deck and then run R&D for a deep dive turn. Like this gives you a lot of flexibility. It's an interesting and nuanced card. Shuffle effects are important. Spin Doctor is important twice over. You can use it as HQ pressure to wean cards out of the hand. You can like brick their draw, right? Like it's such a cool, important, flexible card. And this is what like I think Haymakers are more meant to be like, as opposed to like deep dive. So I don't think it's a full bore rejection. Like I think the game is more exciting. Like Chastushka is maybe very similar to Wanton Destruction to some extent. And like I think people like these cards. These cards are fun and they make the game more interesting than like put Docklands Pass and run HQ 17 times. Maybe we need to talk about Hubward Eidolon for a moment because they put out their like learn to play video the other day. I'm not going to jump into this discussion until I catch them on chat because it's very, very interesting. But Hubworld Eidolon is the new card game from Earthborn Games. I think that's what they're called. And Michael Boggs, one of the former FFG lead designers, is working on it. And it is a game that is, oh my God, so much like Netrunner. It is like 80% Netrunner, except it is not asymmetrical. So you're functionally playing a runner and a corp at the same time. You have servers. And when the runner runs on servers, they access cards from your hand from the top of the deck. They have archives. You have like basically ice. It is so close to Netrunner in a way that I find kind of frightening. Because, well, firstly, I read the YouTube comments and people are like, oh, this is just like Netrunner, I'm in. But like, I also don't understand when you make a game so similar to something else you could be playing. But I think it's just people announcing that they're like, they don't think Netrunner is real. Which like, yeah, maybe people don't think No Single Games does anything or they don't understand it because it's not in stores. I don't know. That's a problem NSG should probably deal with. But the fact that this game is so close to Netrunner, I don't understand the differences. But one of the cool things they have is this heat mechanic in which like your multi-axis inherently ramps up throughout the game. So games will close in a reasonable amount of time. The idea is that every run, or at least once per turn or something, you can generate this token called heat. And then for every heat the corporation has, that's how many cards you access when you breach. They actually do call it breach as well, if I'm not mistaken. And while there's ways to interact with heat, the idea is that like the game will just, the more access you get, the more cards you see kind of exponentially, which like that's a cool idea. And that's what multi-access cards do, I guess, in Netrunner, some of them at least. I'm way behind on chat. How can Weyland be back to 2014? They have a mouseless 2.0. They have mouseless 0.8. It's called mutually shared destruction. Nuances not the point. Hey, Lucille, we're in the weird DST liminal space when America have been changed in Europe. Yeah, that explains my lateness. Yeah, we started late, but then we started early. How you doing? How's the event? I wanted to ask you how the event was, but I knew you probably wouldn't be here on time. That's fine. That's on us. That's Ryan in the background. How about that? Hams. Also for the thematics, the art is meant to be a couple minutes before how the OG Charlotte art is set up. You mean after, right? So is Hames at the bar the whole time? Because like the people dancing in the background, it's like the same kind of bar. This actually at the top is the same too. If I'm not mistaken, I have worked on this piece of art. So this, I didn't draw it, mind you, I did it for the animation, but like this top thing at the bar, I believe is the same on the original art. Does the bar have that paneling? I'm not sure. The chairs look similar. The bartender behind you at the bar is actually wearing a Debbie and the Downtowners t-shirt, which is a really cool thing. Apparently, I don't think that was asked from the art team. We're working on acrylics for net districts. Oh, sick, John. Very, very, very cool. Very excited to see what y'all are coming up with. I both love and hate alt arts as a streamer. Oh yeah, it's rough. I don't know if you're doing a deck check. Kaku, that's a big thing we do with the workflow when we stream events is that we always try and do a deck check really quickly with the players to see if they have any alt arts we might not recognize. The additional NPC text logo gets a little too close to the bottom for me on the Charlotte. It almost looks cut off. Hey, Norad. This will have a bleed. For what it's worth, the cards are designed with more card all around, and then it hopefully gets cut to something like this, and there's a bit of wiggle to it. So the card actually might have more space on the bottom. It depends how it's cut off. So I hear you. This is close, but this is just like the safety margin box, and usually they cut less than that. They just want to make sure that you have everything that is necessary in the smaller margin because they err on the other side. But that's usually how it works. Hey, Tack, how's it going? I saw some deck lists of yours up on Netrunner DB. How was your weekend? The site for TOs to get alt arts reminded me that Lovelace, a UK player, is working on an alt art database, which will be rad. Oh, cool. Just so you can see all alt arts or so you can get alt arts? Are we talking about killing more Padma cards? Sorry, John. Hey, Devil, it's no Trojan horse that punishes you for playing the game. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that one either, for sure. I've whiffed so many deep dives though. Yeah, but I don't think that makes the card more interesting to me. I don't know. The flip of you can steal 5 points and win the game or steal 0, like maybe that's exciting. Maybe. The deep dive argument reminds me how punitive is not fun for some players from a player that has both at CBI. I think punitive is aggressively unfun when you don't see it coming. Right, like an open deck list, I don't mind punitive. I think it's a really fun puzzle, and then it's up to both players. But yeah, I think it's the sort of thing where like if I don't see it coming and I run archives and I die on turn 1, like I won't feel good about it. And that's like nothing to do with the corporation who chose that as their strategy. But I think I would be pretty upset at myself. Deep dive and all this, I was a standoff. Rotation of border control would be interesting. I think Weyland gets absolutely gutted by rotation, right? So like, let's look at sets. Let's just look at some sets really quickly. This is a video I probably should make on its own. But if we're looking at just all the stuff that's rotating, there's a lot of factions that get hit really hard. I think Weyland gets hit the hardest to some extent. Okay, that's not true. I have to look at it. But I think Weyland gets massively hit. It's hard to imagine Weyland surviving the rotation. Like they have to print so many Weyland cards. And the issue is we've already seen like 3 Weyland cards from Elevation and like some of them are okay. You know what I mean? But it looks really, really bad. I've started to like worry about these and actually think through what's happening. And this is like frightening. So let's talk about the Weyland cards that rotate, right? Like building a better world rotating doesn't matter, but every single agenda here matters a heck of a lot. Like Weyland is losing somewhat 3 of their best agendas. You could argue to some extent, like 3 very, very, very good agendas. They're losing them. And that usually has one of the biggest impacts on the meta, especially because these are universally playable agendas that every faction, every Weyland deck has a reason to play these agendas. They're just gone. And that is a problem. That is just such a massive problem. Archer is one of the most popular Weyland cards right now with Eminent Domain decks. I do not know what card you grab with Eminent Domain, whether you're going to grab a Valen Chow, I'm not sure, but Archer leaving massively impactful. Whoredom doesn't show up everywhere, but also incredibly good ice, reasonable ice, very good tech ice, just good numbers. And then Punitive matters mostly not for Weyland as much as Weyland came in. Punitive Weyland came in 3rd in Worlds like 2 years ago. In Crazy Grid, there should be a card that does something like this. I'd be surprised if there wasn't, but that really, really sucks. Like system update taking away almost all the Weyland agendas is a problem, and Archer one of the most important Weyland dice right now, considering most Weyland decks are just Eminent Domain rushers. We look at Reign of Reverie. We lose outfit, which is fine. You can get another Weyland bad publicity thing. What's also very important to know is like we should be looking at more than just the Weyland cards. There's a lot of cards that are just like attached to other factions, even though they're out of faction, right? The idea is that like Punitive actually hurts Jincheki more, like that, or NBN more. That's actually kind of the sort of thing we have to be looking at here. Sorry, I'm way behind on chat. But then what else do we lose here? Like outfit, okay. Drudge work kind of matters. This doesn't matter. Too big to fail only matters for bad pub. So this is not terrible. Katara is probably a mixed bag. So we look at Weyland here. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be good. Border control is also huge. If Op loses border control, they don't have anything. Like they literally have nothing. I don't know if you can play at Weyland without border control. So CityWorks Project is definitely an okay card. Urban Renewal is a key card to some Weyland decks. This is already banned. Surveyor is like the reason to play Atea for some people. This is whatever. Trojan Horse is whatever. Force Connection sees play in a couple Weyland archetypes. But those are powerful cards. All right. And we look at Red Sand and it's probably even worse. I should not start another Weyland another tangent when I haven't finished the first tangent. Losing standoff sort of kind of matters. Don't worry, we lost Battlement, but we get Kesselroyd, so that's great. This is not that bad, but we lose Audacity, which means Weyland can't close games anymore. You lose Audacity, Weyland just cannot win games. So many Weyland games are won because of Audacity, and when you don't have Audacity, Weyland cannot win games. Weyland can get to 5 points. Can Weyland get to 7 points? No. Is that the company that put out Earthborn Rangers? 100%. Same people. Haymakers that enable a win but don't themselves win the game on the spot are cool, I think. Yeah, that's what I mean, Sobek. I think that's a really cool way of talking about it. Like, Burner doesn't win the game, usually. It usually sets up the win. I ordered the demo from Hubworld. Shipping to Canada was like 25 American dollars for a single deck. I'm like, I'm good. Asymmetry is the best part about Netrunner because when you lose, you don't feel so bad. I agree. I think asymmetry is the best part of Netrunner. Well, one of the best parts of Netrunner, and it doesn't have it. But that makes it simpler to teach. I think having a game so close to Netrunner is sick. It's 100% more interesting than another Magic Star Hearthstone clone. Hey, Oscar, how's it going? Like, I hear you, but then the problem is whenever I'm playing that, I just remember that Netrunner is good. right? Like there's games that I think owe something to Netrunner, but I've never seen a game that is as close to Netrunner as possible succeeding in a world where you can play Netrunner. Like I think it has to be different enough. It's like Earthborn Rangers is close enough to a lot of other LCGs, but its systems of how it works and the way that it delivers narrative are genuinely very, very different. I can't tell you what Eidolon does that's different than Netrunner, besides it not being asymmetrical. It's very strange. It was really good fun. Definitely excited for the next big event, Elevation Release Tournament. Ooh, that's only like, it's not that far away. It's like a month away. The deck check process is absolute key. I've only done them at 2 events, but oh boy, recognizing alt art's so much better. Yeah. Eric, remember when you messed up like the alt art deck check thing? It happens to everyone. I just think it's so funny because I got to see your face doing it. Oh, it was good. I meant after. Yeah, that makes sense. I was running a scouts camp on the weekend, got to teach them resilience in the face of terrible weather, although it was particularly snowy and wet. I feel like you're on a good coast to teach that, and that's a valuable lesson, Solomir. Hopefully you're having fun. I have no doubt the kids are too. Full Doomer mode. Actually, how's it going? The code gate slot after rotation is also rough. In Weyland or in general? Hey, Laura. My tokens arrived and I've never been more excited to lose in person. Brennan, enjoy the new tokens. Weyland is the new teaching deck, so I hope they're making sure it'll have an engine. No, it'll have like a teaching deck engine. It'll be like, oh, you can score behind a Pharaohs because it's really hard to deal with Pharaohs in a teaching deck. But like, what do you do in OP? Like, I just don't think you can play competitive Weyland anymore. BTL should be fine. Giannis, how's it going? BTL is probably not fine. Like, when we're talking about decks that lose a card that's not in faction, like we lose, what's it called? What's the Dome? Biovault, right? Like, all the cards that are fundamental to this NGO front leaves. BTL loves NGO. Biovault leaves. BTL Glacier loves Biovault. Like, so much of it is leaving. Like, I honestly don't know what's going to happen. Like, obviously this is rough because we've seen 3 Weyland cards and one of them is pretty good. But like, we just haven't seen things. Notably too, it's also a rotation where we're minus cards. Like we go down in cards. So like everybody's probably going to get less powerful. That's actually probably not true. But like losing 18 good Weyland cards and getting 4 of them, it's going to feel bad. I just feel like so much of Weyland strength is rotating. Like name a powerful Weyland card that's in the format still. It's weird that you can't do that quickly. It's like eminent domain. What are you getting with it? I don't know. Rip and piss outfit. The altar database, it would be so you could browse alt arts just to see them. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's cool. That's really, really cool. Do I remember the early RWR reg host meta Doomring? Is Dead Weyland a new meta Doomring? So like, I want to be clear. We are Doomring, but I also want it to be a discussion. Like, it could be different. For what it's worth, like whether Hoshiko is the best or not, whether corporations can build their whole game plan to beat Hoshiko, yeah, they can. Whether Hoshiko was the best deck and Hoshiko had a massive warping effect on the meta, yeah, she did. Was she converting well? No, she wasn't, but Corpse probably had her number. So I feel like I'm not defending myself on that take. Like, it's fine. I think it's important that people have takes. You guys, Yeti, how's it going? Lunchtime with the grid. Dan, enjoy your lunch. Thimblerig matters for op a lot. Oh yeah, Thimblerig's gone. Like, that's okay. Magnet goes too, but that's not the most important op card. But like, it's hard to name a good card. No faith in them printing Snort or Montreal? I don't know. Maybe. Hey Pat, how's it going? Set to seeing green snare gone? Yeah. Just glossing over Lady Liberty as an attack. I'm bummed that we're losing Lady Liberty. I just don't think it's going to move the meta. But like, Lady Liberty is one of the coolest cards of all time. Right? But like, I've had enough time to enjoy Lady Liberty, and now my one of can be an art piece. Slash and Burn is the new Audacity, kind of. Yeah, kind of is, but like, is it as good as Audacity? Currently, we've thought no. It's not seeing a lot of play. It will be okay. It'll definitely see more play, but that's because like the power level of the whole faction seems like it's going to shift, and then Slash and Burn becomes okay. But I'm not sure. It's very imperfect. Weyland can close games without Audacity. They just need 4 bad publicity. Sure, okay. We know Weyland is playable without board control. It's tangential and Ultra Glacial BTL and unplayed in outfit. There has to be good new Weyland cards to make up for this, but it's not possible for them. So Ultra Glacier does usually play 1 or 2 border controls. In outfit, you generally do play 2 to 3 border controls, Tron. And the problem is like Ultra Glacier BTL is losing NGO front, it's losing Biovault, it's losing Punitive if they are playing that. Like, it has other structural massive issues. So I don't think it's going to convert that easily. I think there's a lot that has to happen at the same time. Anansi rotates, running is officially not scary anymore. I think people over-evaluate the face tech on Anansi. I know I was on backroom deals like last week, and I face tanked an Anansi like 3 times, and it was always the right thing to do because I could shut it down. But you know what I mean? It's like, this is scary, but honestly, I'm more worried about Sai Tom when I face check into Jinteki modernly. I wouldn't access the card if they set it up and this is an R&D because you could just die to a Fuji, like just jack out. But yeah, this card is definitely going. Gonna miss Audacity for the 3-pointer Atea Moonpool check. Yeah, Kato. How's it going? Yeah. I gotta do some Regenesis stuff, I guess. Hey, Green Iguana, how's it going? Loved your Learn to Play videos and just getting back into Netrunner after playing back in the FFG days. Any advice on essential cards that you need more than one playset, aka Spin Doctor? Yeah, so like advice, I think the more you play, the more you can realize what cards show up in everything. Just to do like a really quick list, and maybe chat can chime in on the cards that I think fall into that camp. So Hedge Fund and Sure Gamble, no surprise, they'll show up a lot. It's hard to get multiple copies of these because they don't often get full arts or alt arts. It happens very rarely. But like these cards show up a lot. If you want to have multiple decks, it's easy to have multiple Hedge Funds and Sure Gambles. Another one is just like Neutral Economy shows up in most decks you build. So Regolith Mining License, the Load Bearer, is a bit of a joke, but this does show up a lot. And they were full art Regolith Mining Licenses on one of the latest GNKs. If you don't go to organized play event, you can always buy a kit online for like 15 US without shipping, I think, or with shipping included. That's pretty nice. But these are pretty good. I think Off-World Office used to fall in that camp as well. But Off-World Office is not as common as it used to be back in the day. But this used to be like the baseline neutral agenda you felt good about. Otherwise, you call that Spin Doctor. Spin Doctor shows up as 3 of in every deck, and I think the only other card that falls into that camp modernly is Mavirus. But there's very few decks that run 3 Maviruses, so you usually can get it by with a playset of Maviruses, and that will deal with 2 decks at the same time, because one can have 1, one can have 2, and you're kind of good there. But those are the very quick, like, small influence, ultra splash cards that see most play. On the runner side, I feel like it is a bit... There's not a lot of like 3 of mandatory splash cards the way that it is on Corporation for a bunch of weird reasons, but every faction basically has cards that show up in every other faction deck, right? Like every criminal deck will play 3 Bravado. So if you want to sleeve up 2 criminal decks, you can play 6 Bravados or own 6 Bravados to some extent. I feel that's less important because it's easy to have like a Shaper deck and a criminal deck, and only one of those will be playing Bravado. So I don't have strong opinions on the Corporation side. But the more that you play, the more you go in Netrunner to be, the more you'll notice which cards do overlap. The small like 1 influence cards that you see again in like runner decks are usually again 1 influence. So they don't show up as 3Fs. So a full playset of Pinel Threadings will probably fit 2 decks, no problem, if you're trying to build 2 decks at the same time. Hopefully that helps. So can't make any of the tournaments before Elevation. I've just been thinking about playing just NSG cards from now on. Oh, but you're missing out, Kagu. You got a while to play the old FFG stuff. Earthborn games may be worse at delivering on time than NSG, so I wouldn't worry. Burn. Code gates in general looking really rough after rotation. Interesting. Let's check that out. Actually, there might be some truth to that. Let's go. Whoa. What am I meant to do? Advanced. Hold on. Hey droids, I just got my shipping notification for those Eidolon decks from Covenant. If you're a runner and a corp at the same time, it looks strange. Yeah, we might be able to talk about that once I catch up on chat. I watched the Learn to Play, and I'm so surprised how damn similar it is to Netrunner. And then the people in the comments were like, oh, I can play Netrunner again. And I got angry. I'm like, do you not know that Null Signal Games is out here like putting out good shit? What the heck are you talking about? Go on the internet. And then it's not in their best interest to be like, well, people in the comments will be like, well, there is Netrunner. And then people are like, downvote, Eidolon hype. Sorry, rotation 6th, sort by release date, view as images, code gate. Assets and nicer upgrades, all being the same slot and much more positional, does make it different enough, IMO. I really like Eidolon shifts. I have to play it. Do you know what I don't understand by Eidolon? Why do you use your agendas? Like, you can't score agendas, so it makes the agenda cards just a liability? Like, they have powerful effects, but if your opponent touches your agenda, they can, like, steal it. But the game doesn't have an incentive, doesn't have a way for you to score your agendas. So like, are you just hiding your agendas, or are their abilities so powerful? Okay, code gates. Shout out when you see a good code gate. Oh no. Oh no. Gatekeeper rotating. Okay, that's really, really good. Thimble rotating is great. Afshar rotating kind of matters. That's 3 that matter. These are all system gateway. So then let's look at elsewhere rotates. Magnet rotating is a massive hole, but that's a very easy hole to fit into elevation. Castleroyd could have had that text if you ask me. I think that's a really, really cool text for a gravity vortex. Lotus Field kind of sort of matters. Ravana is whatever. Buy rights shouldn't exist. I'll miss pop-up window. Tollbooth doesn't see any play. Hordem and Enigma, losing those are pretty bad. So now we're left with all the code gates we have in standard. And so if we look at what we have, Messed Chesto is still one of the best cards in the whole damn game. Unless people are playing Fizzarum all the time, this card is just messed up. Pulse is fine. Harmonics are fine. Anvil's probably not going to see play because I don't think Op, like if Op doesn't get a border control, I think Op is down the water. Vampy is very good unless people are playing Buzzsaw. If people are playing Buzzsaw Turbine, Vampy sucks. MIC is fantastic. Atini is not terrible. BSA is really quite good. Wait, no, the code gates are fine. There's just not a lot of options, but the card pool is getting smaller. For what it's worth, it looks like we lose 40 code gates, but out of this entire page of code gates, how many code gates get played? This is a big thing you have to keep in mind with FFG rotation, let alone the red sands rotating. It's like we have 20 cards here. How many of these see consistent competitive play? 3. And man, these 2 are banned. They did see competitive, consistent play. But out of these 20 cards, it's like 17 of them are nearly garbage. And I'm saying that again, pretty dismissively. Like Mirage was a cool card. I'm glad exists in the pool and has done something at some times. But like out of the other ones, like, no. 4 players may help, it exists. Oh yeah, that's true. Eidolon does play up to 4. Okay, thank you for the query. Hey Jai, yeah, we're talking rotation a bit. How you doing? Is the starter system gateway runner deck with booster OP? I keep losing to it. LMFAO. Andrew, it's good. But I do think on the corp side, so like the system gateway pre-built decks, I don't know if I have enough game reps in them to know whether one's busted or another. The problem is, I imagine they're relatively fair. I think the corporation overall is a bit harder to play well because you have to take risks. You have to understand what the runner can do. Your ice positioning really, really matters. On the corp side, you only have 1 defensive upgrade, and this is one of the strongest slots in System Gateway. The defensive upgrades in System Gateway are really, really good, and runners lack a lot of the direct tools to deal with them. They have to deal with them the honest way, like the text written on them, which can be quite difficult. So in the System Gateway corporation decks where I draw the 1 of Managarm versus the ones where I don't draw Managarm, feel like night and day, because the Managarm is at least a defensive upgrade, and you really, really want those. So I couldn't tell you. I do think out of our deck building 101 decks that we put up on the channel that are only a system gateway, I feel like the corporation, unless it draws well, the runner is favored. Because again, if the corporation just doesn't draw the Managarm or the Anoetic, or just like doesn't draw 1 Regolith by the first 3 turns, they are cooked. Because that is a run-based engine and Zaya will touch everything. But I'm not too sure about the unboosted decks too much. Holloman the strongest op card in the meta still? I mean, yeah, maybe. Sounds like Op being a coherent game plan still, if it can get over losing BC. I don't think so. I don't think Op has a coherent game plan. Because what fires Op? Right? Like in the new standard format, obviously new cards will come up. What fires Op? And the answer is either you become an Excavator deck, which could be true. There's a chance Excavator gets more legs and your deck power card is Excavator, which the runner can interact with. But there's a chance they will radically shift in a way that we have never seen before and they'll become Excavator first. Or the only other way you fire your ability consistently is Extract. Maybe you play that 1/4/2 agenda, Kimberlite Field. But like you just don't have good ways to fire your ability. Like say that Envelopment gets trashed. What do you get? Can't get Hoard'em, can't get Border Control. So what do you get for your 4-cost slot? I don't know. I honestly don't know. That's bad. So what 4-costers are you playing in your deck? I don't know. Are you extracting those 4-costers to get 3-costers because you want your Anthill Excavation? Yeah, but what 4-costers are you playing? Like, none of it makes sense. Like, Op is relatively fragile. If there's not a good 4-coster or a good 3-coster, like, we're cooked. Like, it just, the whole thing falls apart. Now, again, maybe Op just plays Sphi and then just plays, like, assets and goes on horizontally. This is a way to fire your ability, but we just lack ways to fire our ability. It'll probably only be assets at this point. My 4-coster's Archer, oh wait, yeah, right? Like, it just doesn't make any sense anymore. I'm very doomer on Op. I'll be very clear. We rarely get an Andre that's not 100% let's please enjoy quality while he doomers. Wait, what do you mean, Phil? I think given perfect play, the runner wins with the boosted deck every time. However, runner's harder as a brand new player. Shylendra is 4. Yeah, but what does it do to your game plan? Right? Like, Shylendra is so anti-synergistic with Ob in general because it cares about permanently putting advancements on cards, which if you're playing Op and your ability is to have a fluid mulch-like board state, why are you playing Advanceable Ice? Right? Like if your power card is something that costs the runner 2 credits to go through, is that a power card? You can advance this ice. You don't want to do that in Op. When the runner encounters decisive has 3 or more hosted advancement counters, which you shouldn't. You can put advancement on another card you can advance, which you shouldn't, because you're meant to be trashing your board, you're playing op. Place an advancement counter, you shouldn't. Do 1 net damage, you don't care about that, unless you're playing, you know, an enemy stuff, and the runner loses 2. Like, none of this makes any sense. I'd rather get an anvil, right? And maybe that's what op becomes. Op becomes the anvil grind. I don't understand it. I don't get it. For real though, I think it's hard to say who's dead without seeing what new cards we'll get and what near-prints we'll get to fill some slots. Yes, the issue is like why I feel a bit more comfortable talking about Weyland is we've seen 3 Weyland cards already. And while this card is definitely a good card, I don't know if these move the needle in a way that Weyland needs the needle to move. Because how many Weyland cards are we expecting to see? I'm imagining it'll be like system update. So if we search system update by faction, it looks like each corp faction gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards. Like we've seen literally a third of the Weyland cards. And one of them is going to be an identity, which obviously has no impact on op. So the other 6 cards, again, I expect 3 of them to be agendas. That's going to be really important. Again, if we just print 3 good Weyland agendas, Weyland might be solved, as much as they still need a win condition in ice, and they don't seem to have those. But you know what I mean? It's like, we only see 10 cards per faction. Yeah, it's 10, right? Old cards make great bookmarks. I use a Chaos Series one. I definitely use old cards as bookmarks, but like FFG cards, especially ones I have duplicates of, because respect. I feel like we're dooming as if Elevation is actually going to have 0 cards in it. No. Rotation is looking pretty good for Apex. Pretty bad for Apex, not going to lie. Somehow every turn I'm holding to use a slash and burn to get stolen the turn before I can. Yes. And how many times has your opponent touched the Audacity and then been like, oh, that's now going to be your slash and burn. Hey, Gyro, how's it going? I feel like the power level between factions will be defined by how much of Elevation is near prints versus new designs for any given faction. I don't know. What I worry about, like, I'm not sure if every faction is as equally hit by rotation, and very quickly off the top, it looks like Weyland's going to be hit really, really hard. Again, most of these NBN cards can rotate with no impact on the meta. Not entirely true, but like a lot of these NBN cards don't see play. A lot of these Jinteki cards, no, some of them are very important, but like a bunch of this could go without being felt too bad. But like a lot of the Weyland cards are kind of key. Like almost half of these cards see consistent play in every Weyland deck and are their power cards. And that's not the case for every faction in system update. Hey, PMK, I'm having a good day. How are you doing? Maybe I'm just a degenerate, but I rarely play hedge fund or sure gamble. Harp, I think it's good to question whether it should be an auto include. I think I'm still playing decks with 3 of them very consistently, but there are times that I don't. But I do think those are outliers. I don't know the last deck that I played that didn't play them though, but it happens. I find myself wanting more copies of Dr. Nuka. It's a good baseline draw and easily to import it to influence. Yeah. Yes. You might be playing a lot of criminal, huh? Tattoo Bull is the next generation of obnoxiously splashed everywhere. Mark my words. Jai, I do think that makes sense. Like, it's a weird thing when they show off like Kesselroyd and be like, oh, we need a cheap and the run ice that's like 1 strength that has text. It's like, we have a Blade of Berry, we have Tattoo Bola. Tattoo Bola is so messed up. It feels bad to interact with. It feels bad to destroy with ice destruction. It is just such a good card and it's 2 influence. I feel like it's the sort of thing where like this will happen eventually once people calm down and all the new cards like lose their luster and sheen in like 4 to 5 months and people just realize, like, wait, Tattoo Bull is the best thing we could be playing. Unless there's, again, more ways to deal with this text. But I agree. I think Tattoo Bull is just an absolutely cracked card. It can be over evaluated, but like having a cheap end the run that has this text on it is massive. Jai has a palette of full art tattoos fell on the back of a truck. The one fun run card looked way too much like some in-Kyle art, and I just want to see more of the art. Which one, Phil? Miss Bones rotating is a problem for asset matchups. I think the whole context of assets is going to change because like all the asset trashing support rotates. We'll probably see 1 or 2 new cards. Hey, Severin, how's it going? The only downside to Netrunner is that you have to build 2 decks, which is yet another barrier to new players. That is true. That is very, very true. I know when I have to play like the Dream Eaters campaign in Arkham Horror, I'm like, no way, buddy. I'm not building 2 decks. Technically 4 if me and my partner are playing. There's some truth to that. But I also do think like the exploration of the 2 sides of the coin and the narratives and like, you know, the mechanical cards that interact with those narratives are a part of the appeal, is that you can play the corporation, you can play the runner. But yeah, it does make it harder for sure. Afshar isn't rotating? Oh my god, yeah, it is not. Yeah, it's Ashes. Thank you. Huge. Yeah, Enigma does go. No, Enigma does go. Enigma's an update. It's not an Ashes card. But yeah, Afshar does stay, excuse me. No, Enigma, yeah, Enigma goes. I knew that. Getting rid of the symmetry is what people want. It's so sad to hear that because there's some truth in that, but like getting rid of the cool, interesting thing Netrunner does is what people want. It's definitely a sentence. Hey Ren, my brain can barely comprehend Enigma rotating. And she's like, wait, we reprinted one card. And everyone's like, Enigma, and they're clapping their hands. Ren, I want to say that your display picture always is just so good. I like deck building so that it isn't a problem for me, but I can see why it could be. Yeah, no, I'm like sympathetic to that for sure. I am. It's like going to an event and having to sleeve up 2 decks, or going to casuals and sleeving up 2 decks. It is technically work. I get that. You can remember with the simple mnemonic Enigma balls because balls rotate. But no one said Enigma balls before. Oh, I see what we're doing. Shit. We left all the expensive ones. Oh, there might be some truth in that the remaining code gates are very expensive. I'm excited to see what ice is played when the stables rotate. What will take the place of Gatekeeper and Nancy and Border Control? I'm happy to see Rashida. Happy to see Rashida go, I mean. Yeah, I think we're going to see Rashida spread out across the factions. Gatekeeper is a huge loss for HB. I think you just end up playing MIC and calling it a day. See what the new magnet is. Anansi, I honestly don't think that matters that much. But that's me. Like, I don't know. I feel like I've seen less and less Anansi. It has come back over the last 3 months, but like we saw very little Anansi over last year. Border Control, though, it's kind of huge. Anthill provides Op a lot of value. It does. But how do you get your Anthill? Mav? But you can't. That's probably Mav in response to something else. Would be shocked if HB didn't get a tempo mid-range code gate and J didn't get a big F off sentry. BC is the big question mark. Yeah, I'm imagining that there's going to be a card too eminent. Like there's going to be a Weyland destroyer that we really care about. 3 anvils, here we go. Pre-Cybersend meta. Okay, I'm catching up. D-Res Dafka, easy, glasses, purple, yellow. Winchester? Like, yeah, Winchester. Do you think NSG will just ban Winchester at some point so they don't have to explain this? So that the rules document gets leaner? They're like, what is this? And they're like, don't worry about it, it's banned. We don't talk about Winchester anymore. To be fair, not every card needs to get trashed. Yeah, but to be fair, you can play any other Weyland ID then. I just don't think that your cards in your deck should be working in the wrong direction to what your ID wants you to do, right? Right, like you're right. Like when you play Architects of Tomorrow, you should play some non HB deck, some non-Byroids. You should, just because they can't click through everything. There's some value in that, but it also like then makes you consider, why am I playing Architects of Tomorrow? It just makes it harder to like be excited about. Tree Line's a good card. Yeah, Tree Line's okay. I'm gonna miss the outfit mist of all. Yeah, to see what bad publicity does. Like, I'd be surprised if bad publicity ID shows up in the new set in Elevation. But this is the sort of thing where, like, when outfit is gone, they basically now have the runway to print a new bad publicity outfit identity. I wouldn't be surprised. You could reprint this and make it 2 credits and draw a card. Like, I think the draw a card part is probably healthy, because one of the issues with outfit now is we have outfit waiting room games, and I feel like you need to make the game accelerate. Like, just give them a card draw so that they can't just sit there and do nothing while they wait for the red caps. Something like that. Have we not confirmed the Elevation is like 20 cards? We've seen all of we've seen all of Weyland. Elevation is the hottest 20 cards, and 2 of them are Kesselroyd. Weyland agenda 3-2 that reads, even the runner steals his agenda, they flatline, totally save Weyland. The power level of cards as a whole goes down. Doesn't that make more cards viable for competitive play? It does, PMK, but the thing is, like, we're rotating entirely into NSG sets. And on average, NSG sets are not like FFG sets. Where, like, we've done this before, but like we could go through the red sand cycle, and out of the 120 cards, about like 17 to 20 of them see competitive, important standard play that people like would know the text off of them. When it comes to an NSG set, NSG is more like 80 to 90 of the cards out of 120 see competitive, consistent play. So it's not a huge difference when it comes to NSG sets. If the power level goes down while we had FFG cards in the card pool, that might open up more cards, but it only opens up like maybe 3 or 4 cards because it's all NSG. NSG sets are much more consistent on power level. Generally, that it's not a thing that I would worry myself about too much. No leaks, Pat. I actually went through Shaper and was like, huh, only Ari really cares about rotation. Really? Just because we lose like Cuban and the killer, whatever it's called? Ika? Anthill fires Ob? Yeah, Anthill fires Ob when it trashes itself, because the card trashes itself, right? Just the same way that Regolith Mining License or Nico or Maryland campaign, because it says trash it, so the card trashes itself. So you go get a 2-coster. It's pretty good. Again, I'm excited to travel more Netrunner this year. Oh my god, I should have opened with this. Hold on. Hey, I got this up yesterday. I even made a little graphic. I want to shout out to Lucille because I copied a lot of the formatting from Lucille's posting. But if we go to upcoming, and we have to go down to like all because we're still a bit away. There's a lot of events going on. Montreal District Championship 2025. So we're running this. I'm going to put this in chat really quickly. But we are running a district on the 29th. It's a one-day event. I'm pretty sure that, like, I don't know. I feel like this is a bad thing to say to hype a beer event, but I'm pretty sure that this is going to be like, you know, a 25, hopefully a 30-person event. It might just be fewer than that, but it is a one-day event. And every other tournament I've run before has been a whole weekend. So it's a bigger deal. That being said, I think I'm really excited for this. I definitely am really excited for it. Our district championship is on the 29th. We're going to be starting at about 9:30 in the morning, 9:15 in the morning's registration. And it looks like we'll be done everything around 6, which is a really comfortable go to dinner time. Now, this is for 6 estimated rounds. I'm not sure what player count we have to go to 7 rounds of single-sided Swiss. That will definitely have an impact on this. But currently we're expecting to have 6 rounds, which is a pretty just reasonable afternoon. It's all in standard. Decklists are required. You can just print off your Netrunner DB decklist, but we'll have decklists there. We have some additional prize support coming in that's being made, so I will update this. The link to buy tickets, the tickets are $25 Canadian. The link for the tickets, we'll have that up shortly because it's not up on the Silver Goblin website so far. But yeah, you can hit the button here if you want to be going. I'm expecting there to be, I would hope like 24 to 30 players would be really quite nice. We're in Montreal. We're very accessible. We're about an hour and a half away from the US border. There's a big airport in here if you want, but it'll just be a nice Saturday event. Maddie unfortunately won't be here. I've not run a tournament like this without Maddie, but she's away for business for the week. So I will be doing all the TOing and all of the data entry stuff as well. So I'll be the one learning how to crochet. But if you want to drop by, we would love to have you for sure. Check that out. Tentable is another of those cards that you may want an extra play set. Yeah, maybe eventually. I don't think we're there yet. I'm feeling that Turbine has to go with how much weaker corps get, while I feel like runners lose relatively little, especially since a lot of the rush tools go. Yeah, there's a chance. Like, I'm still in the camp that I think Cleaver goes. Whether that means Turbine can stay or not, I'm not sure. I get nervous that we live in a world with Sisyphus Protocol and Vampire NASA, and then we don't have a world with Turbine. Like, that makes me upset, but we'll see how it goes. Winnie? Phil, what Winnie? I feel like Elevation might be more baseline power level stuff that really excited Haymaker cards, so I wouldn't be shocked if it feels like we lose power cards without replacement for faction. I think, Dan, it depends. Like, do you think Punitive Counterstrike is a power card? Because I do think we'll see 1 or 2 cards like that are like centrally defining, or you basically can build a whole deck around them, right? Like, I imagine a reprint to something like End of the Line, or, you know, a better End of the Line might exist. Because I do think you'd need powerful win conditions in a world that is just Elevation plus Gateway, right? Like, the problem with Gateway is that you can flow tags because the only thing that hurts you is Retribution. So I feel like, oh, we also gave Weyland meat damage that cares about tags. Wouldn't make sense for that box, as much as like you have to make sure it's going to be in startup forever. So who knows? I don't know. Yeah, Loki rotates. That's good. Loki's all feels bad all the time. Tell me about it. Saren, how's it going? How's the stream? It's doing well. I saw you had a comment on the Eidolon, the Hub World Eidolon video I watched last night. I'm doing well. How you doing? 7 rounds is like 48 players or so. Yeah, which is like some of the London regionals were doing 7 rounds, cut to top 8. Did they have 48 players? Maybe they did have exactly 48 players. I made a mistake and put myself down as going, so that affects number. Pat, what the heck are you talking about? Very excited to go to Montreal again just to play Netrunner for 9 hours. Yeah, it'll be a nice day. Like, if you want to hang out on Sunday, people will be around. The city is like really much worth visiting. I've updated, and by updated, I mean I posted again the Montreal map, which has a bunch of like generally vegan focused, because I generally eat vegetarian food and I'm lactose intolerant. But there's a map here that tells you where the Silver Goblin is. If you have any questions about parking or public transport, all the basic stuff around here is marked. I highly recommend parking. You can park in the basement of the building, but it's a bit expensive. I think if you can do a bit of walking, if you park here on Almer Street, this parking complex is pretty cheap, and it is like literally a 3-minute walk down there. That's what we do whenever we go. But yeah, there's going to be a lunch break, so I'd recommend going to one of these places because we don't have that long to go for food. But if you want to see the city and go get food and stuff, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. If you want to spend your whole weekend in Montreal, which I cannot recommend enough, it'll be the end of March, so it's still going to be like winter-ish, like winter to spring. It's not going to be like beautiful summer Montreal where you know, people are free love and all that sort of stuff, but it's still a nice place to be. I like Montreal a lot. Please get punitive out of my game. Loki kind of cooks, just hush it. My money's still impunitive that caps a 3 damage that isn't a trace. There's definitely going to be no trace in this set. Pittsburgh Mega City confirmed for June 14th and 15th. Y'all should join us. Oh, sick. Really, really cool. Yeah, mind you, Toronto is doing their district on the 22nd, which is a week before this. And then obviously the mega cities are going to be coming out slowly. I think 2 weeks later is in New Jersey. That's the NANPC event as well. The Museum of Archaeology was pretty awesome last time I went at the Old Quarter. It was absolutely lovely. Museum of Archaeology, like the one that talked about Old Montreal, because the museum that talks about Old Montreal is really good. So this is the Old Port. This is where like the really touristy area is, where like the science center is, and like all the like cobbled streets. It's really, really quite cute down here. There is the Old Montreal Museum that has some archaeology and stuff that talks about the history of Montreal. I forget what the name is, but it is really quite nice. It has a very strange looking building. I'll try and find it between now and then, but like Old Port is definitely worth seeing. It's incredibly European kind of vibe for North America. And it has just like nice stuff. I believe Ottawa also has something on the 29th. Fuck off. Ottawa has it on the same day? No, Kyle. Shit. I also have tried binders since your collection tour is extremely dismissive, but after the VOD, I was like, I tried it. It's been a fun process. I think you left a comment about it. I'm glad that's working out. Team binders. And my Andre's love for the city, where me with London is like, yeah, it's fine. Montreal's fantastic. Like I didn't grow up here. I moved here and I decided not to leave. And whenever you make that decision, it's because this place is kind of special. I don't know if anyone who's been to Montreal who like doesn't see it being that way. This place is great. It is that one. They have a literal cutaway dig into the history. You can see how it is. Yeah, Pat has a name. It's Pointe-à-Calière. Pointe-à-Calière is really, really nice. Because it is built on top of old ruins of the old city. This is what the building looks like. I do believe part of this is attached to old stuff. But when you go in there, they actually have like old historic Montreal, which is up to like 250 years old, so it's not like European old, that they've built on top of, and they've carved through it. When I last went, there was like a nice projection map video that talked about the whole history of Montreal, and that sounds boring, but no, this museum was actually pretty cool. It was a really, really quite good. Pointe-à-Calière is really, really cool. Museum of Archaeology and History. Yeah, I can highly recommend Pointe-à-Calière. It's pretty great. Been there a couple times. No, I'm considering applying to convert the SG Megacity to online, since Cror mentioned that there weren't any online applications. Oh, cool, Jai. Yeah, I'm surprised there was no online megacities. It's a non-district event. Fuck. Does Montreal Megacity have a date yet? No, Hexnet. That's the next thing I have to lock down. I'm assuming it's gonna be at the end of June, but I'll let y'all know as soon as I know. Because we need to find a weekend that works for the store, because it's a whole weekend, so it's a bit harder. So we have to work around like magic releases and stuff like that. And then we need to make sure that it lines up with the city, because the city is really busy. So like, for instance, I don't want to hold it during the Just for Laughs festival, which actually doesn't exist anymore, does it? I think Just for Laughs doesn't exist anymore. No, it doesn't. But like Jazz Fest, Montreal, like I just need to make sure it doesn't land to these dates, because these dates are very expensive for hotels, because everyone comes to Montreal for Jazz Fest, or at least a lot of people do. I shouldn't say everyone. So I need to find a date that makes sense, because this is what Jazz Fest is, right? Like you go downtown and there's like a bunch of free music, and like that's great. Like it's a good excuse to come. But also the store that we play at, it's like right here off camera. It's really in the Place des Arts area. So it's not the greatest time to do the overlap. So we have to be a bit careful. Like Jazz Fest is sick. You can go out and see free music and good jazz, but like this is Place des Arts, so this is like the Modern Art Museum. I didn't mean to click on that, but I guess we have. This is the Modern Art Museum. There's the Metro down here, so like Reed Subway and other, and like the place that we play cards. You see this building here? It's just over here. So like we have to be a bit careful what dates we pick. I didn't expect this to be where I learned JFL ended. I watched a bunch growing up. So Just for Laughs, like Juste pour rire, like their TV show, that still exists. But the Just for Laugh Montreal Festival went bankrupt. It did not survive through COVID. That being said, there's still Just for Laughs events. Like Toronto has a Just for Laughs, but like the big week-long Just for Laughs in Montreal, I believe went under, unfortunately. As of 2 years ago, I don't think they do it anymore, which is a huge bummer. I did a lot of comedy stuff in university, and so I had a lot of friends who volunteered and worked there, and like we would go to free shows all the time and have a great time. The comedy scene in Montreal is huge, but it was canceled. Yeah, it was announced the 2024 edition of Just for Laughs has been canceled as Groupe Juste pour Rire tried to avoid bankruptcy. So they still exist and they still do stuff. Their television shows are one of the most syndicated shows globally. That sort of thing you might see where they goof on people in Montreal streets and it's all silent and it's like hidden camera stuff. It's generally pretty tasteful for that sentence, but it doesn't exist anymore here. They still do things though. How old can it be? 300 years, give or take. It's basically as old as people have been in Quebec, right? Like that's the thing. This is the St. Lawrence River. So people landed here and then built a settlement and then that became Montreal. But Canada's only been around for like 150 something years. Montreal's about 100 years older than that, if I'm not mistaken. Mega City tomorrow. How about Canada weekend so I can plan a trip and ooh, wow, whoops, there's Netrunner Nets at the same time. I probably have to play that. That'd be fun. For what it's worth, I do think that might overlap with the Jazz Fest, but also Canada Day in Montreal is not a huge thing because here people are more Quebecois than they are Canadian. So it's not like a massive Canadian celebration. It's like, oh yeah, the tourists go see fireworks and all the Quebecois people are like, they forget it exists. I just realized thing was in Montreal. I remember watching the show. Yeah, that's again one of the most syndicated shows. Those are in the streets of Montreal. Like I've seen my house in one of the backgrounds of one of them. Not that I lived it then, but like the old recorded stuffs. This is the sort of like hidden camera show. And because it has no talking, it is so widely syndicated just for laughs gags because they don't have to translate anything. So this like works in basically any market. It's still being filmed and released, but this stuff is just on the streets of Montreal. Yeah, most segments are filmed in Montreal, but some have been filmed in Quebec City, Vancouver, and Mexico. Yeah, this is, again, one of the most syndicated television shows. It's been around for over 25 years. Yeah, Montreal's sick. I gotta go to Montreal. It's really, really great. I think the founder of Just for Laughs has legal trouble currently. Yeah, that sounds right. JFL gags eroded society. That person needs my help. I don't think so, JFL Goblin. I've seen them filming. Like you walk by and you see something suspicious. You're like, oh, that's weird. And then you see one or two hidden cameras and you're like, I'm going to go a different way through the park. But they get people. People have been in Quebec a lot longer than 300 years. Bristles and Wabanaki. Oh, excuse me, David. 100%. Excuse me. Way longer than that. The very, 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 very bad take. Sorry. Oh, man. We celebrated the 375th of Montreal in 2017. Oh, shit. It's older than I think it is. 375 years. And of course, all the First Nations people who were here before. Oh, I feel bad about that forever. That's okay. All right. Have we caught up on all the stuff that we wanted to catch up on? I think so. That's mostly it. Oh, I do want to shout out one thing because I felt really bad about it. I think it's talking about feeling bad about things. So I've been doing some Crash-Based Grid streaming. So Friday night, Maddie was out again. I'm like, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to play some Marvel Champions. Classic Andre, played some Marvel Champions, played against Mojo Mania, had a good time. I have card pop-ups so you can read all the cards. It was a good time. However, for anybody who was there on the stream, at some point around halfway through the end, no, near the end, I got up and I went to feed Nanako the cat some dinner because she wanted dinner. And when I came back, my chat froze. And so for the last hour of the stream, I assumed nobody was watching, nobody was interacting. And this is where I went against the finale, who was Mojo, and I was just getting crushed. It was getting really, really bad. And I was getting more and more despondent. And then instead of running it back for the fourth time to try and finish Mojo, I was like, okay, well, it's late and I'm going to go back. I'm just going to call it a night because it's like already 10 o'clock and I'm going to call it there. If you were in chat, I felt so bad because then once I closed the stream, I'm like, wait, people were in chat. My chat wasn't updating. I thought the whole time I was alone. I was getting a bit despondent. So yeah, thanks for hanging out on Friday. Sorry if I didn't respond to your messages. My chat just wasn't working and I was spiraling a bit. Speaking of spiral, here's spiral. On that note, I have a quick video coming up tomorrow. Just I tried to record something to see how the recording works. So there'll be like a standalone Marvel Champions game up on this channel tomorrow. But yeah, we'll probably do another stream every Friday. It looks like every Friday we try and do a stream if we can. I'm pretty sure the next stream, if it's not Marvel Champions, if we don't get the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. box, Jello Shot just got the box, enjoy it. We'll probably do a stream where we play through the acclaimed game from last year, Daybreak, which is one of my biggest board game disappointments of 2024. And I'll explain why that is. So we'll probably just sit down on Board Game Arena and play through Daybreak and talk about it because I think that's a very fascinating game. But yeah, apologies if you're here. I felt really bad. I just thought I was on my own and then I just shut the stream down. But yeah, people were hanging out. My bad. Most cities people try to avoid wildlife. Montreal's like cross the street. It's those bloody prank show people. They're nice though. Daybreak was almost awesome. It's so heartbreaking. Piotr, I just don't understand how it, like, there's everything. It does so much so good in terms of presentation, the style, what it's about. But then the core gameplay sucks. It's really not good. I do not understand how it's on so many people's best game link. I'm here for more Marvel Champions. That will come out tomorrow in the morning at like 10:15. It's all good, buddy. Just have to make a statement. No, definitely. Or they might recall my card. Please make the statement. Please, like, do not hesitate. I'm glad you did. I want to go to more Netrunner tournaments, especially Worlds this year, but high-level competitive stresses me out. Yo, Clankomatics. You've probably heard me say this before. Most Netrunner tournaments, if not every... Okay, hold on. Let me try the sentence again. Hey, Clankomatics. Every Netrunner tournament, somebody wins. Some people make the top cut. And they play fantastic, very close games that maybe we don't understand what's going on all the time. That's totally fine. The majority, if not every single Netrunner tournament, is an excuse for you to get together with friends and meet people and play this game that you like. Worlds could be rebranded to Netrunner Con, and I think that would actually be more accurate. We had 250 people come to Worlds last year, give or take. Out of those, I think 50 people were vying to be the top players. The other 200 just came because Netrunner is cool and they wanted to meet people and hang out. You know how Swiss rounds work, whether it's the district we're running in a couple weeks, whether it's the World Championship in Edinburgh at the end of this year. At the end of the day, if you lose your first round because you're sitting across from a world champion, that's fine. Because next round you play against someone who also lost the first round. And then maybe by round 3, again, you play someone who lost the first 2 rounds, just like you did, and you find someone who's in the exact same position as you. In theory, the bigger the tournament, the easier it is for you to find someone of equal level. But at the end of the day, it's all about showing up and having fun. Whether you win games or lose games, you're going to meet fantastic people. It's an excuse to hang out. And you know you're going to be surrounded with people that share the same sort of passion you do for this game. So I get it if you're concerned to go to events because it is a daunting social task, or because you're not very good at the game and that makes you feel like people have a personal, they attach your personal worth to how good you are at this game. Firstly, that's ridiculous. You gotta stop doing that. People don't do that. But most importantly, come out and meet people. It's the best. There's a lot of people who've been playing Netrunner and going out to tournaments for like decades. They're still not good at the game, and that doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't. So please, it's kind of the best thing to go out to. Is there an online implementation of Compile? I don't think so, Jai. Besides like TTS, obviously. I bring so many new players to Netrunner tournaments. It's always so fun for them. Yeah, it's like genuinely the best to be like, whoa, you all have like cool alternates and you're showing up and you've played this for a while and everyone's super friendly. They don't care if it's my first game or my 100th game. It's something else. The Netrunner community is super, super different. I can not recommend it enough. Confirm, meet people and hang out, gang. Yeah, a lot of people just come there to hang out. Like it's genuinely just an excuse. Like you can come on Saturday and literally at our district and not play a single damn game. Did I close it? Why would I close it? Holy crap, I closed it. And play 0 games in Netrunner and still have a good time if you just hang out and go out for dinner at the end of the day with people. Right? Like you should probably play because you're spending your whole afternoon there, but you know what I mean? Like the shit doesn't matter. The games don't matter. They're just an excuse to hang out. You can play the games if you want to. You don't have to. But I just want to be very clear. You do not have to have competitive expectations to enjoy a tournament. You can make your own, you can just say like, I want to get through 6 games and not make any rules errors. And that's like a totally reasonable goal. Question to Foca Quebec. Do you usually use the word Quebecois to describe yourself? It depends on who you're talking to. As an Anglo who moved here from English-speaking Canada, I don't feel like I'm Quebecois. I feel like I'm more of a Canadian. I think I personally relate more to being Canadian and Slovenian immigrant as my parents immigrated. A lot of people who are here first, Franco first, would fly the blue and white flag. Yeah, they would call themselves Quebecois, but it really depends who you're talking to. There's different neighborhoods that are much more Anglo than Quebecois, but the majority of Quebec is very heavily, Quebecois sooner than Canadian is my guess. Can't speak for everyone. And then, of course, all the First Nations people, I don't think they consider themselves Quebecois. I see going to tournaments as a good excuse to play lots of Netrunner, have fun. It also encourages a lot of players to show up if they don't have consistently show up to local meetups. Yep, it's an excuse to go out and meet people. Play the game against people who play differently than you. Who knows if it's an Urtica cipher? I'm sold I don't need to be any good to come. No, 100%. Like, I'm not even just saying that so people can come up, so numbers can go up. But, like, ask anyone. Going to a Netrunner event is an excuse to hang out with people. There's not a lot of meritocracy-based prizes. Like, technically there is here. But, like, if there's 24 people, you get prize support. I try to make tournaments where no matter what happens, if you show up, you get prize support. Which is why I went out of the way to order other stuff. Because I'm worried we'll have more than 24 people. So, like, I go out of the way to buy stuff so that people can come to an event and can leave with something even if they lose every single damn game. Which, there's a chance that the districts don't have enough prize support. But, like, that's just how it is. Come out, get a nice, cool little prize, meet some people, have a good time. Remember in 5 years. I've looked at tickets for Worlds, but the thing is, I know like 4 people IRL who play, so it's kind of daunting to fly across the ocean by myself. My experience with entrenched communities, you kind of get frozen out. And so people put up like Discord channels. I can't speak too much about this because obviously I'm a bit more entrenched, but they make Discord channels online for the Worlds where people post in it and be like, hey, I'm a new player from this meta, or like I'm coming from here, I'm on my own, I don't have any of my meta mates. And people are generally really good to be like, oh, we're going out to do this, we're going for dinner here, we're going out to see this sightseeing thing. And generally people will be excited to bring you along. Again, I can't speak on that because obviously my experience is very different than a lot of people because people recognize me usually. But there's a lot of people who go to events like Worlds that know nobody and still have a good time. Probably would need an anecdote there, so if someone can answer that, but there are at least ways to help people meet other people, especially on Discord. But yeah, I that would make me stressed for sure. But I think there's ways around it. I was saying the year I've been playing this game, every time I face against a much better opponent, they will give me very good advice, or they will saw a misstep or misplace, and always in good spirits. Yeah. Attaching your personal self-worth to your performance in a card game is very unhealthy and totally not something I've been putting a lot of energy into beating. Jai, you and I both. Like, I know for someone who makes content and like who, you know, spends money for lessons, like I think I need to do well at tournaments. Otherwise, where's the house I built? But it is just not that way. Like sometimes Netrunner doesn't work out like that. So don't worry about it, bud. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. But I know what that stress is like. I had to leave for work stuff, but now I'm back. I want to ask if you saw that Eidolon had a TTS mod already. No, it didn't. I didn't, but I'd probably try it. I'd definitely try it. I can't order the decks. They're really expensive. Kata, if you want to play a game, I'd be down to play a game. Okay. You will not get frozen out of Netrunner Worlds. I'm a socially incompetent person. I made like 10 friends and got to play a sick game Clock Tower. Hell yeah. There's the stories. I went 1 for 6 on my last tourney and felt bad about it briefly before remembering that I was having fun with friends. It didn't matter. Yeah. Hey, Reheat, I'm pretty sure some of the scans from that Eidolon mod were taken directly from the tutorial YouTube video. Yeah, people will have the cards sooner than later because Team Covenant's giving them out, but that's really, really funny. The other thing about Netrunner is that we're not really an entrenched community. Most tournaments are half new people. The people who have been here forever are great because they want a lot of new people. There are a lot of new people also. Yeah, Netrunner is like a really weird space because the game is not incredibly accessible because of the way that's distributed currently. But generally, when you go to Netrunner events, the majority of people there, if not everyone there, their goal is to have more people enjoy this game. So it's not the sort of community where they're like, oh, they don't care if you're doing well. They want you to get more out of this game. And it's just like, you could say that's selfish in some weird utilitarian way, potentially, but it's not the case. It's just everyone's excited for you to be here. Like if you come up to me and be like, hey, it's my first Worlds, my response is, holy shit, welcome. How's it going? Ask you questions, as opposed to be like, that's cool, I don't care, which I could see that happening in some other card games potentially. Give me 1 second. Did I lean off the camera enough to blow my nose, or did I just do it slightly over here? We'll never know. Apparently, Earthbound games are making their own version soon, but the new game thirst is real. As someone who has played in spaces that are different levels of welcoming, I can't tell you that it's easy or free. You have to put effort into integrating with the community, but it's way better than many other board game spaces. You should go. I was 2-4-2 on Barcelona Worlds. What does that mean, Nacho? It worked? Sick. Okay. Let's do some deck building. We've been talking for a bit. It's about an hour 20 in. It's getting warm in this room. It's too hard to turn the heat off. Let's build a deck. This is something I wanted to try for a bit. It's one of those explorational Tuesdays where we build something that might be garbage, but we'll get there. Today's on day here. All right. Things that I want to do. So on the last Neon Static stream, Eric was putting together an Az deck, and he's like, I want to make a weird Az deck and ask for some advice. And so one of the things that ended up getting in there, and I didn't see play, unfortunately, on the day, was like Flux Capacitor and playing some strange programs to be able to build your rig. And that makes a lot of sense. I think Flux Capacitor is a niche, weird, goofy card, but like there's so many charge targets in Az, so why the heck not? Are we going to play Az? No, actually, we're not. Sorry. We're actually not. Now, the other thing that we've been seeing is Not Yeti posted that list that did really well at a bunch of tournaments where it's like it's a Jachinho Az deck, but it's not Az, right? We're playing the Masterwork engine. And so for those who are unfamiliar, Masterwork says when a run begins, you can install a hardware, paying 1 extra, but also the first time a turn you install a hardware, you draw a card. And the idea is that with Az, you save a credit on your first hardware turn, so why the heck not? And then of course you play Cezve. And with Cezve, you get 2 to 6 credits to run central servers, so you can install hardware clicklessly while running and drawing a card. Now, we're not actually playing Az, we're playing Sable in these lists. And the idea is that Sable's just has better text. Just because the click you gain back from running your mark means you clicklessly do your installation. And at a minimum, if you click for credit, doesn't Az look silly? And I think there's some truth here. I think of most of those decks that I've seen, Az was a worse choice than Sable, let alone, of course, those are Jachinho decks, and Jachinho wants to be running all 3 central servers, which means you'll always get your mark back, which means you'll always get a click, so you can do all sorts of ridiculous tricks on Jachinho people. 242, like position 200 something. Oh, okay. That's okay. Now, Flux to charge Wake and Courier sounds good. Yeah, it's like twinning, Poison Vial. You have a lot of different options. Now, I'm also in the same camp, and I think there's a lot of cards that I have just been a bit pigeonholed to Az that I'd be interested to play in other versions or in other decks. And one of the things I wanted to do is like, okay, say that we're playing Cezve, right? We're playing 3 copies of Cezve, and that's really nice and fun because now we can install things clicklessly. And one way to install things clicklessly was with Masterwork, but another really powerful way to install things clicklessly during runs is you can use your Cezve credits to fire Prognostic Q Loop. Now, a lot of these AS decks are running 3 Masterworks. Technically, that's an engine, and then you can play Prognostic, and then you have a whole bunch of choices. When you run, you see the top of your deck. The problem is when you see the top of your deck in modern AS lists, you look at the top 2 cards with Prognostic Q Loop. And as soon as you draw, because you're playing Criminal, Class Act fires. And as soon as Class Act fires, get effed if you haven't drawn this turn. Like, it's weird how it's actually actively anti-synergistic. Where say you see event and underneath is a program or hardware, as soon as you draw, you have to draw both of them and put one on the bottom. So you actually unset up your Prognostic Q Loop, which is kind of ugly. Like it's I want to be clear, Class Act is a really good card, but it is actually inherently a bit anti-synergistic. So what about if we can make it synergistic? And I think we can, but we have to use Prognostic Q Loop in a different way, and we don't play Class Act. Because the thing with Prognostic Q Loop is you can always install programs, and that's kind of cool. I think Paragon's another interesting one. You can use Paragon to be synergistic. I don't think we're going to be exploring that today, but Paragon is another really nice way that after the run's successful, you can take the top card and put it on the bottom so you can set up a Prognostic Q Loop relatively easily. But I think we're going to be playing Prognostic Q Loop and we're not going to be playing Masterwork. Because this is what I want to play. I want to play Lilypad. Oops, I clicked on it. Because Lilypad does 2 things that we really want to do. Firstly, it gives us card draw while we install programs, and we can install programs clicklessly. A big thing is that we use Prognostic Q Loop on the corporation's turn, not that we can use our Cezves. We can draw on the corporation's turn, and that's kind of nice. That's a once per turn trigger. This also gives us a bunch of MU, and we need a bunch of MU because we're playing a whole bunch of Cezve. And so I think Lilypad makes a fair bit of sense. And then we don't build hardware, we just build Prognostic, and that means we don't have to build AS. Now, I think there's 2 ways to build this. And I think actually the way that makes the most sense is we actually end up playing Shaper. I think we're going to build a run-based Shaper that basically just plays 3 Cezve and then plays the rest of the influence on Prognostic Q Loops. And then we can have all the MU in the world. And then we can use Prognostic Q Loop on the Corpse turn, which fires cheaply because we have DZ-MZ Optimizer, which is a once per turn trigger, including the Corpse turn. And we'll be drawing with Lilypad. So all we have to do is play a lot of programs, which means we're probably an Aesop's Pawn Shop deck, and just build around that 3 cups of coffee to be able to run to set up. That's all we're going to do. You're saying Ars on a Q Loop like Ba? Yes, but even heavier into it. The last list I played that Ba had Ars on a Q Loop, which is a deep dive deck, that the deck was a lot of fun, but that deck was not running Cezve. We want to run 3 Cezve and just fire every single turn all the time. What ID? Padma? Probably not Padma. I think we need to have like just a flexible ability. We also have so many programs, it's very likely that we're going to end up playing Arisana because Arisana is just totally fine. I gotta stop clicking on things. There's a chance that we could play what's it called as well? We could play Lat and just get a bit more card draw, which I have no doubt we would value, but I think Arisana will be a bit easier to play. Will Andre be able to install a DZ instead of holding in hand forever because it's negative tempo? I think we'll be okay with it because we're running 3. Yeah, and Arisana is another really good way to use the Cezve dollars, exactly, Jai. So we can just go centrals. Prognostic Q Loop, Brahmin, Coalescence, Woo, and Eternal. That's the sort of list we'd want to build. Obviously, we can't for a couple reasons, but that's the idea. I've been playing prepaid voice bet Hushik as it makes so much money. It reminds me of Borealis startup deck I made once where it was just Cezve and Padma with Hyperbaric. And that's cool too. I wonder if Hyperbaric is a bridge too far, but Hyperbaric is another like really nice card that works well with the Cezves because you can run centrals. You can just like power these up all the time. That was with boat times though. Yep. Tau for the stronger meme game though. I don't mind Tau's ability. The thing is like with Tau, you have to build your deck around Tau to some degree. Right? Like you need to be a conduit deck. You need to have like a really focused game plan that can punish ice placement. And I also think Dao just gets so much value from playing things like Hermes, and our console slot is largely spoken for. Find room for 120? Oh, I don't think so. I don't think we have the influence for it. If we want to play 3 Cezves, 3 Prognostics, I think that's 15 influence. I think they're all 3 influence apiece. Maybe Prog is 2. No, so that's 15 influence. Dao gets stronger with rotation trust? I feel in some ways no. And that's because Weyland loses all its ice, and a lot of Weyland is positional ice. I have no idea how, right? Like losing border control, not good. Surveyor, not really big real. Putting the archer in the bad place. Like I feel like Dao's best target is Weyland. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's just 3 Cezve, 2 Prognostic, and then we just build the Shaper deck with a lot of programs. We'll try it. Again, it's a Tuesday stream. I don't think it's going to be good, but we're going to test something. And it's very likely whatever we finish the stream with today, whether it's good or not, it can only get better by further testing. So that falls into your hands for sure. So just to go over our options of who we could play. My quick reaction is Arisana. So we could have Dao. 40 deck is going to be hard to build anyways. I don't care. Kit. 10 influence means we can't. Lat will be fine. There's a chance that using prognostic to draw cards with lily pad on the corpse turn is gonna make Lat both tricky and interesting. IO is a possibility so we can get to our combo more consistently, but I like having an idea ability that matters through the whole game. It's just more fun, if you ask me. Padma, we don't have very obvious synergies. You can charge Twinning or Wake, but we can't have the influence for it, so we end up charging something that doesn't matter that much, like an Earthrise Hotel. So I don't, or a Coalescence, which like whatever. So it's probably Arsana. Akiko, we need the influence for sure. All right, Q loop, and we finally making a good test run. Honestly, yeah, test run's kind of cool if we can put something big on top of the deck. So, collection, standard, build. We're going to play 3 Cezves, which might not be necessary, and then 2 prognostic Q loops, and then we'll build the deck around that. On its own, Cezve is also just a good card, so that's worth keeping in mind. Then we're going to play Lily Pads. I'm assuming we want 3 of these. There's a chance that you want fewer than 3 because the other copies are just going to gum up your Cezve prognostic Q loop. That being said, you can still install it, and it technically draws it, but it's expensive. And then we're going to play every single copy of DZ MZ Optimizer we can play because that is our package. Now, with Prognostic Q Loop, it's in our best interest to play as many programs as we can play on the basis that that's what we're going to need for this to fire. So we're probably going to play some amount of events, but we're going to try and keep the event count minimal and the resource count minimal. I'm assuming too, we're going to just install a lot of programs and just pawn shop them. So we can basically sell anything and be fluid with our board state. And that's probably nice. So basically any cheap program is worth playing to some extent, I'm imagining. Finally, Monkey Wrench will have its day. Well, we don't have any influence, but it almost did for a moment there, huh? Just almost for a second there. It seemed okay. Yeah. What are the multi-access ideas considering we're running centrals? Conduit is a big one. We can and could play Conduit. We don't have influence for things like Compilation. The other one that might be a bit more slots intensive, which is fun, but it works in these sort of decks, is Nyasha. Because this is not unique. It's cheap. It works well with Pawn Shop. It might actually be a Nyasha deck. I feel like anytime I played a Nyasha deck, I've enjoyed Conduit better because it's just like more slots intense overall. Like Nyasha is just multiple slots. But that being said, with Prognostic, with Aesops, you could argue there's Nyasha there. Pecha Dive, I don't enjoy Deep Dive. We talked about this earlier on the stream. I'm going to try and avoid Deep Dive. I generally enjoy playing like Conduit and then Burner. Like I'd probably play Burner as our event. I don't think I want to play Deep Dive too much. The Shaper Money program with the green leaf. Yeah, we'll definitely play Coalescence. We'll definitely play Muse. Let's put our minimal amount of events that we want to play. So I think we do want to play 3 Diesel. It's just what we want to open with. We won't play Nuka, but we will play Diesel. I think we have to play Creative, and we probably still play Sure Gamble on the basis that we need to install our Lily Pad as soon as possible. And then I do not know what other events we'll play. Maybe this is too many, but I could see us playing at least like 1 burner, maybe 2 burners. Conduits also fits a DZMZ, a lot of MU game plan. Yeah. Dirty Laundry feels like pretty essential as a way to stack value in the central lunge. Blurby, it does, but the problem is we need to make sure, like, we're already playing a quarter of our deck to be events. I don't want to play more. I'm assuming we get enough value with Cezve, Prognostic, Q-Loop, Lily Pad, and for what it's worth, we only have 2 Prognostics. Our deck might just absolutely suck unless we can get a Prognostic. There's a chance that we do 2 Cezve, 3 Prognostic. That might be correct. But I think we're just going to play only like 10 events, maybe max. I played over Sure Gamble, personally. I could see that. I just think we want to be able to like play Lily Pad on turn 1, and Sure Gamble is the easiest way to do it. It could make sense that we just instead take 1 credit fewer and get an access. The issue is that we don't want the access until we're set up. Let's try that. I think that's a fair idea. Yeah, that might be good. Okay, from here, we have to be Shaper or neutral, and we'll just basically touch any program or hardware that we think makes any amount of sense. We're not going to like play Airblade because we can play Airblade. We'll play Airblade if the meta makes sense, but like, I don't think we're going to play it for no reason. You'll find proc soon enough. I'd stick up to 2 unique 1 and 3 of the non-unique free money cards. Yeah, like this feels better, but I feel like our deck is just going to be bad unless we set up well. So what else are we playing? Cataloger is technically a win condition. I don't think this is faster or better than any other option we have, unfortunately. Especially because we're not going to play Mad Dash. Simulchip we definitely play. I think that's it. Again, we have to play Shaper or neutral, so our rig is going to look really strange. Do you still have the ability to use mid-run credits before you find the loop? Yes, we do. But if we run centrals, we can always use Aris on it. That's very true. All right, programs. 1 admin. I've always wanted to play 1 admin. It never shows up in any deck, so we'll keep the obvious choices. We'll play 3 Coalescence for sure. We'll play 1 Conduit, so we have our multi-access win condition. We have Cezve, so it should be relatively good to actually play a self-modifying code, and we should have the MU for it. It's a cheap install off the top as well, so we'll get there for sure. Our Breaker Suite, we can't play Boy Tada, unfortunately, so we probably do end up playing an Echelon and just saying Drafter's going to suck for the early game. Our Code Gate Breaker, there's a chance we'll try Hyperbaric. I feel like it is a bridge way too far and just too ambitious. So we could do like one Hyperbaric and then one Euler, because we can't play Buzzsaw. Maybe we'll just play Unity and install a lot of things. Wait, is this the Maven deck? Do we actually play Maven? No, probably not. Okay. Ika, we can definitely play. It's a Trojan. It's cheap. We can use it during the run. We can even host it during the run, which is okay. This is not the Maven deck. I think the Maven deck needs a Poison Violent. We don't have the influence. Turbine is probably fine. Cubon, I think we're going to play 2 of them. We might end up like going up or down, but we'll just see how many slots we have. Is any deck a Maven deck? Yeah, Maven's fun. Maven's actually kind of fun. Mantle is a bit extra, but you can use this for Prognostic. We'll bookmark one of these because it makes it cheap to use Prognostic on the opponent's turn. Not a huge include. We'll probably end up cutting it. We will play Muse. I think 3 Muses, just because it is a nice double install for Pawn Shop. We'll definitely play Parisha because it's cheap. We could consider playing a Plongi because it's cheap. Otherwise, we don't care about viruses, which is nice. We'll play 1 Pichachon because it's Pichachon. Our Fractor Suite will probably play like 2 Propeller, 1 Pressure Spike is my guess. It could be 1 and 1, honestly. Self-Modifying Code, I don't know if we play 3 of these. We might. My longest Boy Tada ever. We'll just put 2 for now. We're already at 45 cards. Oh, that's not good. And then Slap Vandal is definitely an option. We can play Phaserum because we don't have the slots for it. And we have to play Unity. No Turbine, only Takobi until rotation. I don't enjoy Takobi that much. I feel like I still haven't seen a board state where Takobi's better. I don't know. It just hasn't worked out for me. I get it that people enjoy it, but it just hasn't been better than Turbine. Turbine's so easy to get down. Yeah, we definitely need to do the resources. So Pawn Shop is going to come in. There's a chance. Oh, we can't play Fenris. We don't have influence. Daily Cast also often shows up in these lists, but we probably want to play as few resources as possible. Is this enough money if we don't draw our Pawn Shop? The answer is probably not. We definitely play environmental testing. That's how we get money to the deck. And I don't know if there's anything else we play. I think that might be it. Maybe we can play an Urban Art Vernissage. It's a bit extra. We can play like 1 of them, maybe 2. We'll just probably pawn our first couple cards. So now we're at 53 cards. We definitely need to cut 8 of them because we need to be playing as consistently getting to our engine as possible. Flashbang Plongi. Do we have enough card draw as well? Ideally, yes. This is the amount of card draw that you play in a lot of these Pawn Shop RE decks or Pawn Shop Lat decks. Well, Lat has more card draw, that's for sure. But our dream plan is to fire Lily Pad like basically every turn cycle twice. So, killers, we have Echelon Ika. That's maybe a bit much. I could see us cutting the Ika, but we are Ari, so why not? Nuka, I'm not sure. I think if we miss card draw, we'll add Nuka. But otherwise, I don't want to add more card draw. Like, I don't want to add more resources, more accurately. So what are we cutting? We don't need Pichachon. Cubon and UAV? Yeah, Cubon might be a bit too far. UAV is just kind of good, though. Like, it's the Paladin swap. Hyperbaric is rough. Yeah, we're not going to play Hyperbaric. It's way too much. So we have 2 killers, 1 Code Gate Breaker. We can get rid of 1 of the Fractors. So that's 5. That seems fine. There's a chance that we only need 1 killer. I'd probably cut the Ika at some point. Then we have Cezve, Coalescence, Conduit, Turbine. Cubon, we can cut. Mantle, we definitely cut. Muse, Parisha, SMC. Hyperbaric's fine with Cezve. Yeah, but like, we have to be able to deal with a Gatekeeper at some point. We have to deal with the MIC relatively quickly. Like, it's basically saying the fast matchups, we lose so much equity to them. Unless we set up super, super consistently. And I don't think we do. Because we need our Cezve credits to set up. What does this draw like? Here's our opening hand. The problem is if we don't have Prognostic, we're not a very good deck. So how many Trojans do we honestly have? Hyperbaric plus Turbine seems odd. Ideally, find space for a Slap Vandal. Yeah, we might. Hey, Avatar, how's it going? Does an Urban compete with Aesops? It sort of does. It's nice that you always have a card in your hand for Arsana to feel like she's doing something. Like, that's one of the important parts, I think, about Urban. And it gives you card credits so that we can install our other cards to sell with Aesops. Like, I think that's a big part of Urban, is that it ensures that Arsana has text. Admittedly, like, maybe Lilypad's easy to fire with Prognostic, but like, again, we have to draw a Prognostic. So I'm assuming this is not going to overlap poorly. The issue is that we just honestly don't have enough Trojans. So maybe we need a Slap Vandal or something cheap just to bounce, because we have nothing that we can Arsana with. Yeah, how many charges do you have right now? That's the issue. Is like we don't have enough Trojans. So like there's a chance that we don't play Arsana, we play Lat. That makes it Cezve much more limited, that's for sure. But like, how do we possibly... Like, I don't think we can use Arsana's ability at all. Is the necessity of getting certain cards enough reason to use Isla instead? I could see getting Isla just to get the prognostics as soon as possible. The problem is like, I just don't like Isla. Like Isla, I don't think it's like kind of anti-fun. It's like, do you want to have an ID ability you worry about every turn, like Arsana or Lat, or do you want to just have like click to draw? It could be sometimes be an Isla. I wouldn't say it's never Isla. Like having an important hardware that's hard to tutor for. Like there's some value to that. Like say this is our draw, right? So we do Diesel, then we can do DZ into Coalescence, and then like we get our Cezves down. Obviously we'd create it that turn. But like how quickly do we find a prognostic? Oh, never mind, we're gaming. Holy shit, we have 2 Cezves on turn 1 with a prognostic? Wait, that's sick. Install the Muse, draw. How soon do we get a pawn shop? Don't worry about that. The answer is never. This is our hand, would we keep it? No. This is our hand, would we keep it? Well, we have to legally. That seems bad. This seems good, right? We can start with the Diesel. Okay. What do you do here? I think you do Credit, Lily Pad, Coalescence. That's your turn. We discard a card. Yeah, that's fine. We discard this. 3 environmental into 3 Cubone. I think this is one of our best cards. But I worry that we need something like a Cubone. Like we need reason for Arsana to do something, and we need cheap programs. 1 Aesops, 3 that event that Aesops and draws cards. Oh, that could be better. Yeah, the I don't know what it's called, honestly. I think just play Lat makes sense though, unfortunately. What is the one that called that trashes cards forward? I don't know. Specwork? Specwork. Hey, Bingus. I know an idea works really well in environmental testing. Spatella, how's it going? Specwork is too many slots and clicks though. Yeah, it adds a lot of slots to the deck. We definitely cut this because we don't have any Trojans really, functionally. And then we could probably cut the Ika, and then we can just play Lat. I think we just play Lat. I think we just play 3 Cezve Lat and see what happens. Like, look, I don't like it as much as y'all do, but like we just don't have enough Trojans to support this. Okay, let's see what Isla would do. So what happens if we're Isla? We'll do 3 test Islas and see if it's good. So Isla says, before drawing your starting hand, set aside the top 6 cards of your deck, and 2 goes back, then we mulligan. So say this is our Isla. Which of these cards would we be excited to put on Isla? And my answer is literally none of them. Click to draw Dirty Laundry off your ID ability is heinous. Click to draw Echelon off your ID ability is annoying. Like, this sucks. This actually makes our deck worse in some ways. Isla worse than Lat, Raheem. And so to say we do it again, here we would probably put a pawn shop under us, a second pawn shop under us so we don't draw it. And then we might put a lily pad. When I play RA, call the judge over every other click. That's fine. That means you're learning something. And then like we put a Muse under us. Then we shuffle these back, which I have no way to simulate that. So then we draw another 5. Technically, it could redraw these. And like that doesn't feel as good as Lat for sure. It gets 4 cards out of your deck, so you normally draws are better. Yeah, but at what cost, right? Timmy Wong played Isla Worlds because she's the best shaper that isn't Lat. Yeah, and I've talked to Timmy about that, and I don't think Timmy said Lat was the play. Like, I think Timmy should have played Lat. And I think Timmy thought Timmy should have played Lat. I'll let Timmy defend that, but I'm pretty sure from talking to Timmy, Timmy was like, yeah, I don't think it was the play. But like, that's a really inspiring Timmy Wong choice, and people wanted Timmy to play it. I was playing Pawn Shop Lat the weekend. I really wish I had spec work in the deck just to like draw through faster. All right, I think we'll just try Lat and see how it goes. And then if we're not doing cool enough stuff, either we give up on the dream or we build into Arsana a bit more, who can use Cezve a bit more consistently. With Isla, can you afford to cut 1 Q loop? Bucket Hat Bean, no, definitely not. Because we need to find it as soon as possible. And then just having 1 copy means we're less likely to find it. I think it just becomes like a hypergeometric problem. Where having 2 copies in 45 is more consistent than 1 copy in functional 41. Right? Can confirm. In my worlds, Pawn Star Lat, spec work was a must. Yeah, I worry with Prognostic that we can't do it as easily. If we didn't have Prognostic, which means we're incentivized to play as few events as possible, I would see spec work making sense. My RE deck plays 3x spec work, 1 Aesops. The draw this out of the engine is much more important. Yeah, I could see that. Maybe we could cut something else. The thing with Lat is that he's just fine. He's good actively. Like, that's good text in certain metas, but also just good. Cut create commission for it. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Wait, how much money does spec work give you? Like 2 credits, right? It's like 2 and 2. It's 3 and 2. Yeah, we'll try it. We'll try it. No sure gamble, no creative commission. We'll try that. Coffee run. Emilio's very slots intensive and went all in on Aesop, so it makes sense you don't have space here, but it's nice acceleration and faster matchups. Yeah, I wondered that our matchup, like if we set up poorly, we set up really poorly, so we might appreciate having the spec work as a way to like get set up a bit faster. I don't think creative is a good idea, to be honest. The card is so good with Lilypad and increases the wields of those early turns. I agree. Like the reason that we were playing that is so that we could early get down our console, but I'm gonna try it. Obviously, like there's gonna be a cost on making any change, but I'm okay trying Dirty Laundry over Gamble and this over Creative just to see how it feels. But it's like very easy for us to change back. And then like it'll be very easy anytime that we draw one of the cards to be like, would we rather have a Creative here or would we rather have a spec work? And at least we get to play the one that I've played less. Cafe latte. Pretty good too. Runner deck. Atron. HB. HB. Could be Core Sports. I'm not too familiar with the deck. I think that deck's been doing the rounds recently. Tron's very likely to play Core. Thanks, you too. So this hand, how good is it? Cafe au lait. NV testing on turn 1 is like not great with this hand. Diesel's the best card in her hand. Double Simulchip is dead. Tron kept, so I'm gonna mull. We drew a much worse hand. Now we don't interact really well with like fast advance because we don't have clot and we don't have copulation. So that could be great. This means we're not gonna play our RD ability anymore. This hand is so bad. So what cards do we have to run on the table on turn 1? It's mostly Rashida. Obviously this is sports medals, so not obviously, but like one of these could be a 3-1 agenda. So that's just like +5 credits sometimes for Tron. Prog turn 1, you're already winning. Yeah, but we need it. Like, this is where like creative commission be really good. Somehow I'm still upset with this. If we do Lilypad into SMC, we can't do anything. This is where DZMZ is a bit of a trap, huh? Huh? We'll check one of them. We can look at the top 2. It's environmental testing to coalescence. Okay. Maryland campaign. I think Tron got me with this deck recently. I'm pretty sure we're going to get got. I think we're worrying about way too many things. So this environmental testing on top of the deck followed by a coalescence. So if we trash this, we can draw one, discard the DZ. I think Tron not having money is important. And so coalescence we can install for +1 credit on 3 credits. But that's not very good. Ooh, I don't like this hand. DZ SMC for coalescence on opponent's turn profit. It's a lot of money to do nothing. Now, none of these cards were scored out, so we don't have to interact with them because they're not Rashida. So I'm assuming these are traps and or garbage. 5 cards in hand. So I think we just have to do like credit, environmental testing. That's so heinous. We could DZ turn 1. Forgot the /S. We could do credit, DZ. And then we could prognostic. In theory on our opponent's turn. Oh, we should have got Lat there. What am I doing? I'm not even playing Lat. I don't know what's happening. So we can play 2 credits to gain 2 credits and draw a card. Yeah, why not? So on 5 credits, I don't think we have to touch the table. Rashida could be out there. Our environmental testing hasn't got it in, but I have no idea what this is, but I don't want to touch any of it because I'm worried about our setup. 3 cards in hand makes sense. I think one of these could be an agenda. I'm worried that there's just going to be like Nightmare Archives on the table. I think that makes a lot of sense. So I think we draw once. We don't know anything about the top. Oh, that's at least really good. So the problem is we want to get environmental testing down then into our Lilypad. So we have like 9 economy cards and 36. So we have a 1 in 4 chance of drawing an economy card. So we can do environmental testing into Parisha to check. We're checking last click, which means if we just get snared, I don't know, we're in 3 cards in hand. We'll just run server 7. I hate interacting with sports on last click. Pressure spike into pawn shop. Okay. Maryland. It's important to have money. Lat action. What's on top of the deck? A pawn shop. So we're pausing to see if there's another spin doctor on the table. It'd also been bad if we stole an agenda there because Tron can just draw cards and we won't get lat. Oh, no worries. All right. We're going to have to call the game. All right. Undefeated on JNet. I guess we won't know what's in there. I think there's a point at which you have to not get every trigger totally optimally lined up and instead get that seed money going. Yeah, I generally try and do like somewhere in the middle. Like we could have just clicked for credits and set up our environmental testing. How many turns would it take us to pop off here, right? Like next turn, we probably have to do SMC into coalescence with a pawn shop on the top. We would draw the pressure spike, and I think we're actually okay there. We'll come out of there. Corpse can't run. All right, we'll try it again. I don't think we learned enough there. We didn't have a great hand at the beginning. I think our starting hand we mulliganed out and was better than the hand, but we're lucky that Tron wasn't doing anything that seemingly quickly. So we didn't have to interact. For what it's worth, touching cards was actually kind of bad because it puts Tron forward. If we don't touch, Tron has a score to 7, which is maybe a lot of work. I don't know. There's definitely some sort of like tricksy trap interaction there we hadn't seen coming. Excuse me? Very good. Ag Infusion. That's not good for us. We can play a bit slower. I feel like it's been years since I last played Ag Infusion. Stratagem Mulligan. So our hand, we need to play for the late game. Luckily, we have a late game hand. We have Diesel, Environmental Testing, DZ. We have Muse into Coalescence. Early is probably fine. This is the sort of thing where we have to get Turbine down relatively quickly. But I'm fine with this hand. The best case scenario is that Diesel draws into an econ card, like a Sure Gamble or a Creative Commission, but we'll do what we want to do. This is definitely an okay hand. I'm hoping that a Charlotte doesn't hit the table immediately because that's the one thing we have to deal with. Do we face check Sice and Tons? Yeah, maybe. Shit, that's a Charlotte turn 1, which means Stratagem only has 7 credits. So it's likely that this is a Tattoo Bolo. If it's a Sice and Ton, you can always res, but if we just do Diesel charge this, I think that's good. Okay, now we have to think. If it's a Charlotte, we need to contest this. We're assuming it's just a Tattoo Bolo or the cheap Code Gate. This is where if we were Arsana, this play might not make sense. So we can run it, then we can Muse and run back and trash Charlotte probably, but I don't think we actually have a slot Vandal in our deck. Otherwise, we'll run it, then we'll do environmental testing into, I think, just Parisha. It's not fantastic, but I think we run this. I don't think we get a breaker yet. For the Size and Ton, we can't die. If we lose a bunch of these cards, it's like fine. It's a Tattoo Ball. Okay, that's what we thought. So, probably we should have just done Propeller run it because we lose a click. That puts Stratagem on 6 credits, but it gets rid of Rashida, which is important. Or sorry, Charlotte. So I think we just do it. Yeah, we might have wanted to say that that was not going to be a Thimble Rig and just get this down. It makes us discard a card. The Parisha is not super important. Now, there's probably an ice in hand. If there's not, we're like really winning, but we need to deal with Charlotte. So the Charlotte is going to be less good then. It's 4 credits in a card or just 4 credits. So we'll give 4 credits. Great. This hand, what do we have? 2 DZ seems a bit extra, but this is going to be a value matchup. So next turn we do environmental into... Unfortunately, we have no ADs to Cezve as well. I wonder if we have to be like 3 SMC Arsana makes sense with Cezve's. Maybe we should be Cezve's. All right, we'll do Muse into Coalescence next turn. I didn't watch the idle on how to play. It's odd how much I bristled at you may not run on your first action. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Seems unnatural. So that might be the Tattoo Bowl on HQ. Install then draw. In theory, the other order is almost always better. Okay, so we have to get our money up. 5 cards in hand. So we definitely get the EV testing down. Muse into Coalescence. So we can do... We just probably draw, install the environmental, click for credits. If we draw Dirty Laundry here, we're good. Ugh. How is our influence so poor? I do not like what we did here. Okay. This sucks. This is not good. We're missing the early explosive. What is it? You can't run first action every turn. The first action of the game. First action of the game you can't run because you trade actions in the game. It's not like the corp goes first. So like in theory, if they don't ice turn 1 and it passes to you, you can run immediately, and they don't want you to do that. Sorry, but I have to run to meet the delivery person who's having trouble. No, it's okay, Tron. All right, they iced up everything, which is really bad into our Cezve deck. But this gives us just time to set up. So I think we don't do much here. I think we just do DZ. So they're on 5. We can draw once. Oh my god. Eventually that'll be good. So if we do DZ, unfortunately the math is bad. If we want to install the Cezve to credit, so we can install the Cezve. We can also install the Muse, but Muse into Coalescence is 3 credits. So I think we just do credit, install Cezve, so we use some amount of value. Okay. This is, I think we need more early seed money. Yeah, DZ installed. We got +1 credit. Okay. That's a Sisyphus project. Like, I guess we lose, but could just be an NGO front. 8 credits can be an Anansi. I'd be surprised if there's an agenda, but it doesn't look like we have money. Shit. So thinking. We can do credit Cezve simul chip. Having 3x Cezve would help against Sisyphus. I guess it does, but like, it's still going to be a long game. If they score out an agenda, I think we're relatively happy. So we just need to make 9 credits. So how do we make 9 credits? We could do credit, credit. So we could do credit, 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 Muse into Coalescence. That will cost us 3. We probably want to get the other DZ down, but that's like most of our turn. Credit, credit, Diva, Cezve. I mean, like, probably. But it doesn't get lat draw. So if we do credit, credit. Yeah. Free credit Muse Leaf is not bad. It gets us into environmental testing. It means that we hit lat draw. If we do DZ into Cezve, like, we're setting up our Cezves, which are kind of useless. It's not that we need the Muse Leaf. Monica, welcome to stream. I finally got a stream. Hey, hopefully you're doing well. Welcome. We're trying out a lat Cezve deck. Still thinking. We're struggling in our early game as much as Stratagem is not going incredibly fast. It really depends what this is. I would love to get the lily pad down. Yeah, we'll just DZ into Cezve. It's fine. We won't get the draw. Gain 9. If we lose the lily pad to a Fuji, we're upset. Sisyphus? Yeah, of course. I think we played Stratagem against before, so like double Cezve can deal with this eventually. Now we can't face check because of Saisanton. This card, like, oh my god, there's so many cards that really tilt me. Well, not that there's that many. They're just like, whatever. Don't worry about it. Okay, so now we want to set up. We probably could have face checked that. So what are we doing here? We're going to continue to drop. We're going to get double Cezve down. This seems important. Face checking is still scary. So we want to install a program a turn, but face checking is really, really difficult here. So I think we just do lily pad into the next Cezve to draw. Lily into Muse. I don't want to do the Muse because I don't want to commit to anything. Like musing for the Coalescence doesn't make a lot of sense at this point. So we're just going to do this to get out all the coffee, this hand. Okay, we have SMC. At least here we can do SMC run and we'll have 6 credits with Cezve. Now those 6 credits are going to go to a breaker and then we have to break the breaker twice. Yep. But like, I don't understand actually what you want me to do against this card. If the answer is ice destruction, yeah, I hear you, but how is this reasonable? Double ice HQ. Okay, 6 credits doesn't go far. What's the deck today? Yo, how's it going, Floating? So the idea is that we want to play Prognostic Q Loop and then use Cezve's and then fire it like once on their turn, once on our turn. So we probably just eat the DZ here unless we want to muse for a breaker, but I don't think we want to muse for a breaker. We can muse for an SMC, which takes out the deck, which is not super valuable. So we want to be drawing. I think we'll just start with the SMC and eat the DZ value. Oh, that's bad. Muse for Leaf, I promise. Now Muse for Leaf is interesting because we have the spec work, but we would have drawn to the same card. So now if we run, we have 6 credits to use SMC. So we could run Archives. I think we do nothing. I think we just install Prognostic and click for credits and say like, hey, we're the late game deck. Fine. Having 6 recurring credits on the table and not touching them feels strange, but like as soon as an ice is res, the game is interesting. I ironically think that this is better for us than if they had scored a Nisei 2. We have the money to deal with Sissy, but a Nisei bounce would be way harder. I don't think so. I don't think we have the money to deal with this consistently. Like, for what it's worth, we still have to spend a lot of money for Anansi. I don't know. Okay, so we should chase the Spin Doctor down, which gives us Prognostic. They're now in 8 credits, so we have to break Anansi twice, and like Echelon doesn't do it well. Top 2 is Spec Work into Coalescence. Okay, so we should draw once, and then we can Coalescence off the top. All right. Their hand is fixed. I must say, a high roll agenda that you manage to score your opponents in mini hell. That's why we've seen a lot of those agendas, which are mini hell, like this and Steganon. They're generally just hellish. Okay, so the top of the deck is a Spec Work. On 6 credits, can we afford to run? I'm not going to do the math, and I'm going to face check our archives and just flatline. We should draw once. Like, let's see what happens. Like, I don't know. No action. Oh, they don't res. That's really good for us. So now we can Prognostic for Coalescence. Draw a card. Oh, we have so much money here. We should SMC for a breaker for sure. Oops. 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 6 credits. Throwing out an Anoetic. Okay. Muse Relief is currently a +2 credit play. I only get your stuff for Aesop's coming soon. Yeah, we just don't have the Aesop's yet. And I want the environmental testing. It's hard to dirty laundry Ag Infusion, but not on this board state. We probably should simulchip for what's it called, but we have no problem. We'll just Spec Work this. Okay, that's good too. Yeah, now we're cooking. Now we're just playing like a lot of effort for what's functionally 1 turbine worth of value. Okay, so we can dirty laundry this. We can just Spec Work first. We don't know the top of the deck. Okay, so that's in hand. So we can dirty laundry this, and then we can simulchip for an SMC. Use your off-turn Prognostic. Oh yeah, we probably should have. It would have hit a dirty laundry, so results oriented. Okay. Storix, how's it going? Good afternoon. Do we have a turbine? Yeah, Rohit, we have 1 turbine. Let's see what happens here. So top of the deck, we can't use our Cezve, but if they push us to centrals, we can. So burner into Spec Work. Oh, how are we finding all our events? But believe it or not, it's an Anansi. So that's now res. So now every run makes no sense. So now we will simulchip for turbine. We actually better off simulchip for a code gate breaker because we still have to boost once. Oh, we have to deal with a Anansi twice? What a fucking miserable card text. Every run is double Anansi for the rest of the game. Like, why? Why does this exist as a 5-3 or 5-2? Okay. So we can simulchip for SMC, SMC for a decoder, install another breaker. Yeah, another breaker and another turbine are comparable. The problem is like the turbine comes in for 6 credits and we cannot break this twice. So we'll just break this once. To work our way up to 6 breakers. Yep. Yeah, as soon as we get our like 5 breakers, we can deal with the Anansi, but like just pain in the ass. The issue too is our DZ gets eaten by the simulchip. So what else can we simulchip for? Nothing of value. We can simulchip for the Coalescence because now we have to double boost. So I think we just eat one of the Nancies, break one of the Nancies. I think we can afford to do it. So we'll simulchip. This draws a card too. Oh, this draws a card. So the top of the deck will be a Spec Work. That's useless. Prog, it had these two. So it's going to be shuffled now. We can't even break it. We don't die, but like we can't even break this. Yeah, maybe we should rent Centrals. I don't know. It's just fire. I don't care. There should be a new card type that blanks your opponent's scored agendas, so the court plays a card with the same trait that blanks your resources. That currently would help out. Pay 2 to draw a card. Oh, in theory we could Prognostic here. It's unlikely to matter, but no, I'm not gonna. Look at them pay a card, so we have to do this again. God, this card. Yeah, we have to. We die. So in theory, we died to Fuji and Snare. I don't expect this to be a Fuji. If it is, it is. Some virus. Oh, they were credits short of resing it. We would have flatlined. We'll trash it, gain 5 credits. All right, so we just lost a lot of cards. And now any run throws us into the Anansi. At least the Anansi will only fire once. We don't know the top of the deck. So we can't run anymore because Cezve throws us to the Anansi. We break this for 6 credits. Even with the Cezve. Yeah, we should have only ran Centrals because of the Cezve. I think that's a pretty substantial misplay. Run anyways? No, we lose the game. Well, no, we don't lose the game, but it puts us down to 2 credits. We don't need to do that. Okay, they're on Mindscaping, so they might also be on. I'm pretty sure they'll be on a single copy of what's it called? The big snake. Yeah, our engine just doesn't work. When any face check on Central gives us the Anansi. So we definitely should have ran a Central so that we could have a Central to bounce into. But yeah, any run now costs us 12 credits. Seems unfortunate. This doesn't do anything because we lost all our things. This doesn't do anything because we lost all our things. This doesn't do anything because we lost all our things. We have 12 cards left in our stack. This deck is terrible. That's good. But like, what are we pawning? Lat draw? So like our pawn shop deck, we've lost every muse, 1 simul chip is left, and we have 1 coalescence. Yeah, we just lost way too much value hitting an Anansi. We shouldn't have done that. Just misery generator. So a 4-2 on top of a Lacosta. There's money there. So we'll just install the turbine for 2 credits. Now this only costs us 6 credits to run. The other DZ doesn't matter. So yeah, this is 6 credits because we have to run it twice and they have to spend 1 card from hand or 1 in credit. We have to break this twice for 6. Like even when we break it for 3 credits, that's annoying. How is Sisyphus after rotation? You still have Vampy. You still technically have Big Snake. You have Saisenton. Like I still think it's just an absolute bummer. Your Kingdom 4 quarters has B-Blom. How's it going? Silver Bullet, Gabriel the Celeste, so we can pump with Cezve before we get bounced. That's really cool, actually. Like I don't know what to do here. We just have to get ice off of R&D, but I don't know how we win. Our multi-hexes is a 1 conduit, which is still in the deck. That's okay. Saisenton mentioned. Like, do we run with all our money? I don't think we care what happens here. SMC off the top, so we can Cezve before the approach. I think we will. Oh, sorry. So yeah. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I only wish Sisyphus didn't have the credit cost. Could only be cards from HQ. Or yeah, it had like 2 power counters or something on it. Cezve will not work on their remote server because we're not running Essentials anymore. Oh, they don't res. Okay. Shit, they really do care about tags. Yeah, so we have to break that twice. Our deck, it's funny that we're not gonna be able to use this. We're not gonna be able to use this money. I think this is actually something that's worth running. The issue is that it costs us way too much money. If we run HQ, there might be an agenda in it. We have so much work to do. Do we install DZ? I mean, probably not. It shouldn't be called Sisyphus if it's only 2 uses. Yeah, but then I emotionally give up. This is the 2. All right, we drew the SMC. What's the card underneath it? It's a diesel. Okay, draws half our deck, just about. So they clearly care about tags. I'm assuming that is probably the thing that we saw. They're also very likely to be on the other one. Like, this is really annoying if they're also on Faunatria. I'm assuming they're on Faunatria, Mindscaping, that sort of stuff. So we're on 8 credits. We can dirty laundry HQ. In theory, we should draw once, but I feel like drawing is just a losing proposition here. So we'll just run HQ and force some reses. Once they use the Ag Infusion ability, we can dirty laundry. Top 2 is diesel into environmental testing. Environmental testing is a bit too little too late. We have no way of using it. He and Boldy eventually becomes friends. Then it stops working. Oh, he and Boldy. Tattoo Bola. Okay, so we can break this for 1. We can also just let this be here. Just notice the upper to trash like cards. Wouldn't think there would be a settings option to take up space under core damage. What do you mean, Dennis? Oh, this is new. So when you have to hit this button, whenever you install a program, it asks if you want to trash other programs. This is new from the new update. I didn't realize it was there. I feel like that is very prime real estate. That probably should be in the settings. Hey, Maddie. I don't think we're going to go through this. I don't want to give Jim credits to Resident and Anansi, let alone eventually the Seraph. Seraph costs what, 10? You can find that. They still there? What does like card mean? It means whenever you install a program, it'll offer you to trash any of the other programs. When you install ice on a server, it'll ask you to use the other ice. Use coffee. We know the top of the deck. It's diesel. We have no good way to use coffee here. I don't think I want it hiding in settings. I don't want it on all the time. I just want to flicker on when I need it. I wish it would pop up and be like the first time you install a card, it could ask you, but then that's a setting you can turn off potentially. I'm not sure. So we do dirty laundry on R&D. We can't flush server 1. Did I tune into Seraph, Sisyphus, Egg? Yeah, it's been pretty bad. We definitely could have face checked to deal with the Sisyphus. I think install Advance, that's the worst case. But like we're on a Cezve deck. We want to run for fun. I hope y'all are having fun. Definitely not. Not a big fan of this one. Ugh. Okay. Even more growth inducing. So now they're going to set up the top of the deck. And on top of that, now they can draw their hedge fund and they can come back. So they're going to control the top of the deck. They added 3 cards to HQ forward, top of R&D. Okay. This is, I got another interesting card. Yeah, it's been brutal. It's been really, really, really rough. We had to fire 2 Anansis because we were like a credit short and we did the math poorly. So we ended up losing 8 cards to an Anansi, 1 single Anansi face check. Incoming Oppo, there's a possibility. We're technically on threat 3. Yeah, maybe they could Oppo us. If that's the case, like, what do we do? Nothing. Andre's misery and he loved their company. Yeah. Subliminal, yeah. Salt the wound. That means maybe we don't see a Hansei this turn? I'm not sure. Trying to figure out which of these decks is more obnoxious. You know, like, that's true, I guess. We are triple Cezve, that feels rough, but... So we need to find the outermost code gate. We're on 10 credits. 3 out of 1 cards, so the top 3 of R&D are known. So they might not res. Unfortunately, we have no good way to use our breakers, and we have no pressure. Like, we need to find a conduit. They covered Anansi. Yeah, you're right. They did cover Anansi, so we can, like, dirty laundry R&D, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. 2 cards of stack, diesel, environmental testing. Those are not going to matter. We need our conduit sooner than later. Maybe we should do DZ into SMC. They know this card, so they might not res. Sadaka? Okay. Well, that's not going to do a lot. DZ gives you space for the SMC, yeah, but we only need 1 more MU for conduit. We just can draw into it. I'm just worried that we'll draw into it and then run out of cards and then like get wrecked by an enemy or something. This is probably worth running. So it could be Danielle into Fuji. They might be on Amaze Amusements as well, right? Like anything that says the word tag on it. We also can phone a Tria, take 1 damage. Any simul chips left for the pressure spike? 1 simul chip. The thing is, the pressure spike might not be necessary unless they're running Botu, because Propeller goes infinite into just Tattoo Bolas. But if they're running Brawn or Botu, yeah, we need the pressure spike. So they know on the top of the card, they need the next 2. So there might be agendas on top. We can run server 1. Issue is that this costs real money and our deck doesn't have real money. So I guess we're spending 6 for this. Oops. Sorry. So they can pay 1 or a card. The 1 probably costs more than the card here. I wonder if this can be bad for us. We could end up taking a bunch of tags. It's Anoetic. Oh, cool. That's expensive. Well, we're going to run back, I'm pretty sure. So La Costa into 4-2, they can't afford anymore. So we can get into the server. Spin Doctor. So the top of R&D is now unknown. So La Costa, we can't afford that. We'll just do with the Anoetic. So now HQ is new. Sorry, R&D is new. They've just broke lock. So we can run R&D for a single. This should be free. If they bounce us, it doesn't do anything to us, but this is an unknown card. Look at all our prognostics firing all the time, doing all the cool setup stuff. Seamless, okay. Good to know. So they need to get out money here. We are going to run every turn because of the thing. The Crim and Joy, I'm really ready for Ag Infusion to disappear. Yeah, I hear you. So La Costa reses for what? 2? And they have a Seamless, so we have to consider running the remote server. The problem is the remote server cost us 6 credits at a minimum to run. But La Costa, oh, it costs 3, right? So La Costa Seamless is advance is 5 credits. They have 5 credits. Top of R&D is unknown. We could probably spec work one of the Cezves and it might work out the same. But they can score out an agenda here. It has to be a 4-2, which if it's a Nisei Mark II, that's pretty annoying for us. Draw 1, then run R&D. Yeah, we know what we're drawing into though. What is an offer to trash like cards? Bebom, I think it is if I install a program, it'll ask me if I want to trash other programs. That's a new update. What did they shuffle back with spin? I didn't even pay attention. Did they fix their hand? No, Anoetic and Charlotte. So I don't think they can afford to res here. Top 2 cards of stack is environmental testing pawn shop. Woofa doofa. Hey Solom, I do hope we get support for Glacier Region Techie because I enjoy it, but Ag Infusion definitely has outstayed its welcome. Yeah. No, I think we will. I would like a functional Nisei Mark II reprint, honestly. Believe it or not. So they have to have an agenda in hand. They have Seamless, Sadaka, 1 card that 3 cards they kept. Must be worth popping the Diesel. It probably is. I don't know if they're on Obokata or not. They could score out a 4-2 here, but it'll cost them all their money unless it's off-world office. Can they score another Sisyphus? Maybe. Well, now I'll feel bad about the order here. Yeah, the order was bad. And we should feel bad. We just don't have any cards left. Our money's really bad too. Lat draw? I'm not going to take the lat draw, funny enough. I don't think we take the lat draw. Why not? Okay, great. Okay, Rashida. What about an Issei as an over advanceable 3-2? Yeah, I'm in. But you only get 1 counter. There's no way there's influence for Seamless if we're spinning our shit like Seraph. Yeah, it looks like there is. So they really need a big thing. You need to install using the Cezve credits at some point. Yeah, I know. It hasn't worked out. Our money doesn't exist. Like, we lost all our muses, so we have no Aesop's engine. We got nothing. This could be a Sadaka, which like does actually help them. They have the money to Seamless La Costa a 5-3 now, right? Because it's La Costa for 3. That puts them on 3. Seamless advance. So we need to make them spend 1 credit. I think we just don't care. We're just going to run R&D over and over again. It's coalescence and environmental testing. Yo, we need MU. Tattoo Bola. Allowed Eternal RPC to get 7 Issei counters. Wolf 2 save us? Yeah, but we're going to be stonewalled by this entirely Tattoo Bola. Shit, we're over MU. Wait. How are we meant to? We've got to use Conduit. The first run doesn't matter for what it's worth. It's good to keep in mind, but the first run, you don't have to use it. It has no implication on the game. The second run, it does. Wait, we should have kept the DZ. Because we can't even Cezve to install our breaker unless we simulchip for it. How cooked are we? This is such a bad mismanagement of all of our resources. So La Costa into agenda. We probably just click for credits. Why didn't we go? I don't want to give them credits because if they have credits, they can score out. You break tattoo for 1, prognostic for relief, overriding the spent Cezve. Yeah, I just don't want to give them 8 credits because then they can resonances, but they need 6 credits to threaten this out. How's 8 MU not enough? Well, it's because we're using these 3 Cezves that are useless. I think we'll just run archives. Yeah, we'll run archives. Credit Aesop's chip. Yeah, actually, we probably should. This might force a spin doctor out. I'd be surprised if it does. Some virus. They threw at Sadaka. We already made a run. Thimblerig's in the bin too. Thimblerig's not bad for them. It's just it eats their Sisyphus. This pawn shop's not going to do anything. I guess we pawn a Cezve. Lat draw. If there's like a Rashida on the table, I'm going to feel so silly. And there might actually be a Rashida out here. The spin doctor doesn't make it. Okay, that's fine. I'm glad we chased that out. And sell the copy to Aesops to get more money out of them. It's unfortunately, that's going to be the truth. That we probably need to get rid of this Cezve. Just so that we have one MU. We can always reinstall it if we need it. One virus in the bin. They over-installed? Are they snaring us? Snare does have the word tag on it. So this could easily be a Charlotte. I think this is much more likely to be a Charlotte with the money that the situation that they have. And then probably an Anoetic. At this point, you need recurring money for conduit digs. No, I know. We'll bring it back. But like, we just need to get going. So now we can give them money. We have to deal with the spin doctor first, though, because we don't want to conduit into the spin doctor. Unless we make one run spin doctor, make one run. They have no good way to use Ag Infusion. If they score out a second Sisyphus, I don't even know if it's that bad for us. We know this is a coalescence. Environmental testing might be on the verge of making some sense. So we're pretty sure this is a Seraph, which costs 10. So in theory, they actually could res. Oh shit, they could res Charlotte to res a Seraph. I don't care. At least that's all their money. I don't know what the text on Seraph is, so I don't know if we have to be scared of it. But they've only played one Mindscaping, so taking tags is not an option. They didn't res it. Okay. Yeah, we'll prognostic. Nice. That's a really good hit. So now they're on 7. They can be on 10. This could be the Seraph. I don't know the text on Seraph. It's 6 strength, notably. All right, so I guess we do Simulchip and we just run back. Spec work and run back. I think we want the Simulchip because we always can bring a breaker to hit the 6 strength mark. Because the 6 strength, it really does matter. All right, this is another 6 credits. Great. At least we have some Cezve. They called event. Honestly, not that bad. And if they deal with this, we could run server 1 potentially. They now don't have the money to score out, which is really good. And the only res dice is on the server that we're attacking. Is this a conduit run? Yeah, it's behind us. Tune vein testing a hand is rough here. Yeah, Jeff, we did not draw well. Oh, they did it again. Okay. How you doing, by the way? How's it being back at work? I have fully edited the first Velma's Diner video. Jeff and I might record some more this weekend. Can afford a damage or 2. I'm going to try not to. We only have 5 cards left. Okay. So see, we get shuffled back. They could put him a virus back. We have 3 credits, so we can run it back. They're on 2 credits. They could be on 5 credits. So in theory, they could rise a Sisenton on the innermost. But I feel like we could conduit and see 2 cards. That's kind of fine. We can always panic Simulchip for a coalescence, but I'll just run it back. I don't care. That turn, next turn we have a pawn. Yeah, I'll pay credits. So they could res a card here. I'm pretty sure this is the Seraph, and they've used their ability. So we get to C2 cards. That might just be enough. It's Charlotte. Okay, it is Charlotte to Sisenton, so it is the play pattern that we're thinking of. Now this doesn't ever flatline us. This does bankrupt them as well, and we chase the Charlotte out. So we have a couple options here. The first option always against Simulchip for a coalescence, which is plus 4 credits. The other options, we can just let this fire. If we let this fire, we can't die. The most we can take is 5 damage. What else are we using the Simulchip for the coalescence for? The less Cezve, which is probably the most important. Because every time we run this, it's 9 credits, and we need 2 credits a turn. Yeah, we'll just let it fire. They can't fire snare. All right. Good game. Oof. Their economy just wasn't there. Contesting the early Charlotte was really great for us, I think. We definitely should have charged the early Sisyphus as well. Yeah, yeah, that was the econ engines on neither side set up. I just not being able to run with Cezve because of egg really slowed me down. My guess was they didn't have a lot of agendas. The way that they were using spin doctors seemed pretty aggressive, and they wanted to draw cards. It might have been an anoetic, but seeing that many points in the deck could make some sense. I didn't pay attention to what they shuffled back with spin doctor. I thought Cezve would let you plow through Cezve pretty easily. It's still like, yeah, I shouldn't have let you res the remote and Nancy so that I don't have to worry about money. So the big thing is if we don't run the remote server, then there's no ice that Ag Infusion can redirect us into in which we can't use the Cezve credits. And then we functionally have 6 credits a turn to set up and break ice, which would be very, very good. Now, is Cezve as good as another turbine? Honestly, kind of. In some ways, yes. On the basis that we have to break subroutines more than we have to boost strength, but there was some ugliness here. Also, shout out to the Takobi haters. Takobi would have been really bad. Like, just getting Turbine out immediately to do something is kind of what you need in this matchup. Like, we can't afford to fun run and fun break stuff. I don't understand the Takobi hype. I don't fully get the Takobi hype. Turbine is just so much easier. I tier in hand and eventually want on top of Anansi, but never enough credits to get targeted near. Are you on? Saw the Seraph. I was pretty sure you were going to force us into Bonatria and make tags really matter. Maybe our opponent here just likes big ice and like Seraph is a big ice, but I was convinced that they would be on some sort of tag package. And Phonotria makes sense because if you encounter it twice, you have to do that ability twice. You just end up taking damage and being on less than 4 cards. Takobi hype made more sense when everyone in their grandma was on 3x Brawn. Yeah, the breakpoint for Brawn makes sense, but like only an Anarch. Like I can break it with Propeller for 3 credits anytime. I don't care. Start running Mindscaping because Sisyphus and Seraph. People just take the tags, no sweat. Yeah, for sure. Everyone. This is the thing that I can't understand is like, I have not seen someone hit Cloud Eater and not just go tag me. Right? Like the nuance on this text, there is no nuance to it. Everyone who hits this, no matter what format it is, they just go tag me. And then it's up to you to be like double Mindscaping wins the games. Like it has text on it, but like I've never seen anyone do anything else besides, okay, I guess I'm taking 4 tags. And then the game just gets messed up. It's just like, oh, you're suddenly playing tag me in a faction where it doesn't make sense. And then they have double Mindscaping, which for what it's worth is a better like strategy than Weyland does have for tag kill. It's so weird. Where they're just like, yeah, take 4 tags. I don't care. Takobi is good when you face decks that rely on gear check reses early, games that you can abuse later, but Ag often wants to res big ice first thing. Sure, it's just like, I feel like if I'm contesting as quickly as I need to, I need the turbine sooner than it is like to get the Takobi down and then make a bunch of fun runs. Like for what it's worth, Hoshiko makes fun runs. I don't think the Shaper decks can make the fun runs because you just need to run like little cheap things. And then they trash their magnets and their zero cost gatekeepers because they're a liability. Like there's some truth to that. It just feels like there's a lot of things that have to line up for that to be the case. All right. Takobi's much better against HB. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, and even only somewhat. Like you're still not breaking the 6 cost gatekeeper. Thanks, you too. All right, Prov. Okay, this could be traps. It could be anything. Our opening hands have looked a fair bit like this, which is not particularly great and like very, very slow tempo for the first bit of the game. Now, Prov could be infinite advancing ice. It could be like Believe It or Beal or No Beal. It could be Urtica. It's really hard to care about him. And most of those angles do not, besides the ice one, do not care about the efficiency of your deck. It's just, do you run the right thing? Because we want to run every turn because of Cezve, this is also going to punish us. But like, yeah. DZ Muse for Leaf, Spec Work the Leaf. Or, yeah. We could do DZ Muse. So then we're on 5 on 4 spec work. I think that's fine. We don't get Lily Pad. Parisha's not bad. Yeah, that's probably reasonable, especially because our opponent mulliganed. Please be 7-point Beal. Like Red Planet. Hey, Declan. Had my first tournament, went on the weekend. It was a lot of fun. You should try the sports metal deck I was on. You might like it. Hey, congratulations. What have you been playing? I know a lot of people have been playing core sports. I think there's a lot of good reasons to enjoy sports before rotate. Sports is a lot of fun. All right, they advanced it, which means it can be any card, so we can consider touching it. If it is Urtica, we just take 4 damage, and that can just be the game on the spot, which is like, you know, traps. It's fully operational sports. Yo, I've never seen that. That's sick. So now if we don't run it, we could just get crypto crashed. It could just be an NGO front, which is not uncommon here, or like a Charlotte or something like that. I'm just going to ignore it and see what happens. So yeah, we'll do Muse. We'll go from our stack, of course. We'll get the Coalescence. In theory here, if we want to play around Crypto Crash, we shouldn't take the money, but I think we're just going to spec work. Chez was okay. We diesel, we're on 5 cards in hand. Oh, math is hard. All right, hopefully we don't need that until we saw much of it back. With 2 Amani Sinai. Oh, cool, cool, cool. I've seen this sort of like Veruca Sports Amani Sinai stuff. I haven't played a lot against it, but I know they're very, very good. Declan not only won the tournament, but was also best dressed by a mile. I thought when you said my first tournament win, you were on your first game at a tournament, not you won the tournament. Congratulations. That's sick. Okay, so this didn't move, so it's probably not a 4-2. So this is probably an NGO front, my guess. Minus 9, cool, don't belong in the same sentence. So here, we probably do Lily Pad into Parisha, and then we just check with some cards in our hand. Again, this is probably traps. Doesn't seem like they're doing much else here besides traps. So if we run, we can end up taking 2 tags. We'll just float a tag probably. I don't care. We'll see where the advancement goes. Responding last click is a bit scary, but this could be like a core damage. It could be 2 tags. It could be 3 net damage. It's just, well, random. Okay, well, that's a good hit. So they advanced this. Do you think they put 2 agendas on the table, or this is like some ubiquitous vague nonsense? I mean, I think that we check server 4 then and say this is a Rashida. The post-truth? Okay. I don't know what's happening. We get Crypto Crash, is pretty low value. Yeah, our hand is really good. This is going to be where like we realize that Cezve doesn't matter. Maybe we get Oppo here. I don't think we care. We're on threat 3. It's hard for them. They'd have to pop NGO Oppo. Agenda Flood. Clockwork, how's it going? It might be because they didn't mulligan and now they know that we're running. But on 4 credits, we don't have to check the table. If it's a Rashida, it's a Rashida. Okay, so what do we have here? We have environmental testing. Click for a credit coalescence. Slightly ugly. But we want to get the NV testing down. It's more important than a pawn shop, I think. The other options we can do coalescence into pawn shop. This draws a card. We could do a second DZ. I feel like this is not the matchup where we have to grind double DZ here. So I think we just do environmental testing credit. In theory, they could give us a tag. Playing it a little Netrunner League, making Earth Station do its best. Oh, cool. Yeah, Earth Station I think is going to be much more relevant also come rotation. That's like a strong ability. So I'm also going to leave the credits on the coalescence because this plays around Crypto Crash and we don't need them. So we can always just use this whenever we want to use them, just not on our opponent's turn. Maybe we should do this because there could be an Amani Sinai on the table. Then we want the coalescence credits. Hard to tell. DZ leaves A shops. DZ leaves A shops. I don't think we need the second DZ. I think we're going to touch this. We haven't touched in a while. All right, let's take 4. So we're on 4 credits. They did advance this, so this can be 4 net damage. It can be 3 tags. 3 tags is kind of annoying. We'll see where the advancement goes. Do we want to dirty laundry it? If we dirty laundry it, we have a chance of just flatlining to some weird stuff. We want the pawn stops. Dirty? If it's an NGO front, the dirty laundry is really bad. I don't think we have to risk it. There's a likely that this is what's only this many credits. This is likely it's an NGO front. Yeah. See? Don't want to dirty laundry that. They also don't get the ability because of this. Dirty the central. Now I don't want to dirty. They're on 7 credits, so they can score at a 4-2. If it's a big Beal, what flatlines other than Urtica? Urtica does the most damage. Otherwise, they can just do like core damage. I'm more worried about tags for what it's worth. So we haven't ran yet. They did advance this manually, right? So we still haven't seen a spin doctor. I think we can run server 7. Oh, false flag. Yeah, it could be false flag. Might not make sense with this agenda suite because we haven't seen any, like, if we saw post-truth dividend, freedom information. So Rashida. Now they've advanced multiple cards. So in theory, this could be 4 damage. Okay. So we could do Cezve pawn shop. There's a world where we flatline to this. It's very unlikely, but it'd have to be like Ronin and then like a clearinghouse and a half. But yeah, this means that we're okay against crypto. Oh, it looks like it's a Vladislavsky City Grid. So they're going to business as usual combo. So this is the fast advance upgrade. So they're playing BAU. So we're on threat 3. So the purging doesn't matter, but they can put 1 counter on each of these. So it looks like they can fast advance out of 5-3 Beal, and then we just have to trash this. The Vlad grid is expensive, so I don't mind when they spend this many counters to score out something. It depends how bad it is. I don't think it's going to be that bad, unless it's give us a tag and trash our Aesops. Oh, just a Beal. But that Beal is expensive, right? It was like 5 credits for a Beal. And now we know where this thing is. They advanced that. Sick. Okay. So that's something we'll dirty laundry. So we'll pawn the Coalescence. Actually, we probably pawn the Muse first because we like to simulchip Muses every once in a while. So we want to deal with the Vlad grid. If they can advance this, they can be on game point in a couple turns, but he has a money issue. This could still be an NGO front. So we will draw. Ugh. We have so much redundancy that it feels bad. Draw once more, I guess. That's how we win, I guess. We'll see where the advancement goes. We still haven't seen a single trap. With 2 of these advancement counters at... Oh shit, money. Oops. Forgot, we can't use Parisha because it's only for assets, so we actually can't trash this. So we'll just come back. We wasted a click. We could click for credit. That's on me. No, yeah, I think you might have seen the problem we ran into there. Notably, too, this also doesn't mean on trashable operations, which is like really funny. I don't think I've seen someone use Parisha to trash a trashable operation, but you also can't do that. We just lost the click. It's not that big of a deal. So in theory, if this all agenda's on the table, we could lose, but I don't think it is. Otherwise, they would have scored him out, unless there's some weird combo we don't see coming. So this is maybe an NGO front. We have enough cards in hand that we can just touch this. Otherwise, we can just do Conduit run. I'll get the Conduit down for sure. Okay, so we can touch this. We can take 3 tags. It is a checkist. Yep. So we won't trash it. We'll take 2 tags because they advance this card. I think we're okay with that. We don't get oppoed here. In theory, we could lose. They could do advance, 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 and score out 5 points on the table. I guess. All right. They dealt with the Conduit. They don't have money for Vlad grid. I don't think they have an NGO front on the table. So this is a virtual service agent. We're in an ugly spot, but we're just going to continue to set up. What are we pawning here? I don't think we're pawning anything. We could pawn the Parisha, but the Parisha is likely to give us enough value. So if that's the case, if we install the SMC, it gives us 9 credits. And then we can start conduiting. We can always do a conduit run and see what this is and then jack out. If this is probably like a ping, I think that's fine. So we'll just run R&D here. Last click, we install the simulchip if we trash something. If they res this again and pop an NGO front, it deals with the table. That's fine. So they're on 10. Let's see if this is like a big old Hydra. It's a Messney. All right, Messney's pretty good. Unity doesn't deal with it well. It's very good for them. So thinking, what do we want to do here? We can SMC for Unity. Unity has to boost a lot. So we have no good way of dealing with Messachesso. Messachesso is a really good piece of ice. We might as well use the SMC for the Cezve here. Have just enough to get in? Yeah, but we might not want to. We actually might not want to use the Cezve. We could use our own pocket credits so that we can like duck a bit of the Messachesso. What is this to break? 5? Otherwise we lose 3. So we're paying 2 for an Axis. Okay, I'm in. They need advanced server 9 here. It's a checkist. We will trash it. So we've seen 2 checkists so far. We've seen no Urticas. We have 1 credit and we have a Parisha. So we could probably run server 9 and then put a simulchip down. We might end up floating a tag. If we get self-growth programmed, it'll probably be the conduit and geofront. Okay. And then we'll just install the simulchip and then we'll immediately use the simulchip. Oh, but we can't. So I guess we would get rid of the Parisha. So I think that means we either draw here or take a credit. Server 5, what is it? No idea. Bring back Leaf. We want to bring back Muse into Leaf. I don't think we want to bring back straight Leaf. So if we bring Muse into Leaf, we're 1 credit short. So I think we just take a credit here. We need to get another breaker. Just install chip. I'd rather have the flexibility of having credits in pocket. Like we'd probably need a draw. Like I don't want to end our turn on 0 credits. Like I'd rather have another card in hand or another credit. Because we're going to pawn the Parisha probably. I think we just need a draw. Yeah, that's better. Chip here, Muse, next turn, pawn Parisha, then chip back Muse Leaf. I think we're going to keep the summon chip for next turn after we pawn the Parisha. No, not straight leaf. Bring back gay leaf. Yeah, we're gonna get the muse leaf. So we've seen 2 checkists, so I'm pretty okay checking cards now. Could be a false flag. We haven't seen any tag or tag punishment. They didn't advance the message hassle, but they generally don't. It's usually free. So it's only 3 cards to run R&D to see 2 cards. Okay, we'll pawn that. So now we can do environmental testing, simulchip into muse. We're short credits again. Ah, the liquidity of this deck is not great. If we don't run the table, how quickly we lose? I think we don't run this turn. Like, maybe that's a Rashida. But I don't think we have to run here. We have the other Beal. They're on 2 1s. I don't know if they're going to be on some, like, Arella Salvatore combo. But if we do environmental testing into simulchip, we get simulchip straight for Coalescence, not for Muse. If you simulchip during a run, you can play with Cezve. Oh, that's true, actually. We should run archives. That's better. How are we not considering that? So if we do environmental testing into simulchip, we're on 0 credits. We run here. We simulchip for the thing. Yeah, let's just do it. It's fine. We're not going to make a successful run. We're going to jack out. So this comes in for free. Draws a card. We'll muse from our heap first, I think. So we'll lily pad. Then we'll go from our heap, and then we can install this using the Cezve, and then we'll just jack out so they don't get an advancement. So that's good. We always have to keep that in mind. We have the pawn shop. We have 2 pawn shop targets. We are 4 credits. So we either install the simulchip, but I just want to keep cards in hand in case we do something silly. But yeah, archives is really good. So I'll just keep drawing. Oof. These Cezves are way more restricting than we want them to be. I don't like Aesop's engine. They feel so slow. They're really good. Like, our Aesop's has given us like a click for 9 to 12 credits, and we want to be installing programs anyway because of lily pad. The issue is we don't have our prognostic, so we're not triggering on our opponent's turn. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. Oh my god, I totally forgot this whole game we're Lat. Thanks. We could have just clicked for a card and got a free card draw. Do we have a clicker for number of cards drawn by Lat? I went into this game with forgetting we're Lat. This prov has like made me focus on everything else, and I totally forgot we're Lat. I have never looked at hand size. I've just been trying to make this work. Once we get over that, we'll get this. But yeah, we're Lat 100%. We should have worried about it. All right, so now they have 2 checkists. 8 is a checkist. Server 5 we don't know. We've gotten 0 Lat this game. Yeah, it's because I haven't been trying. I like just totally forgot we have an ID ability. Next turn, we have a click to get 9 credits, plus the Coalescence will be pawned. So we're in a good spot. We'll just probably brute for the message SO. Is Lat the most forgettable guy? No, Lat's ability text is really fun. It's like a really fun puzzle. Okay. Take clicks. Pawn the Coalescence. Just start touching cards. I would love a prognostic key loop. Yeah, Lat mini game is really fun. It's an Urtica? Okay, 3 damage. They advanced that. Pay 2 to trash. This protects Hollow Man. I don't want to trash it. So now that means 12 or 11, one of these is good for us. It could be another Urtica. I'm assuming one of these is an agenda. Post-truth, yeah. I'm assuming another one of these is an agenda. So now Oppo is online. Okay. So we install the Cezve, we draw a card. We actually want to draw a card so we just don't die to Clearinghouse. So I'm not going to install a card. Most forgettable lore. I know nothing about that. I don't remember the articles that came out. Waiting for server 5 to be a Beal? It could be. It's unlikely because we have 2 of them. And like they could have scored it out by now. It looks like it's just a trickle light battery. So the fast advance out another Beal here. I think that's fine. If it's a tomorrow's headline, that's fine. But this is choose 1 install card, move up to 2 advances from 1 other card. So they have to undo server 5. And so now they can score out a 3-2 or a 3-1, which I don't think we're worried about. I think they were thinking, no, all good. We have no clot. Just a Beal, okay. So that means that we're not worried about the last Beal. That's actually really big for us that we don't have to worry about the last Beal. So we know server 13, we know server 8, we don't know server 5. Has anyone made a video of something recapping Netrunner lore? No, I don't think anyone has. So now we can just send it if one of these advancements goes on one of this card, like this could be a 5-3 and Parahealing could win next turn. But I'm assuming with this agenda suite, there's no 5-3s. So if that's the case, I think we just install Cezve, run R&D every other turn. We just want to draw one so we don't die to snare. That's very powerful. But we don't have a way to get through this ice. So I think we'll just draw once so we don't... Oh, no, we're fine against snare. Yeah, we'll just conduit a couple times. Netrunner lore is pretty disconnected. Yeah, there's a big jump between FFG and NSG. Some of the lore documents are online. Traps probably wanted to try this out. It's like super popular in JNet casual. I'm not a huge fan of it. It feels like pretty random on both sides of the table. Yeah, we don't want that to happen. So we can run back and see 2 new cards. I think that's worth it. We just draw a card. They advanced the Mesna Chesvo, so that means that none of this is a win condition, so we don't have to respect any of it. Because if there was a 5-3, they would have advanced it. So now if we run back, it's 8 credits. Yeah, actually, let's not do that in hindsight. So we want to pawn something. So Muse is a really easy install, but we've already drawn. So I think we draw once. And then we probably Muse again. Getting another breaker doesn't really help the math too much because we have to boost 3 times. Otherwise, we have to boost twice. I don't want to dig into the Mesna Chesvo. I want to use the Chesvo once a turn because they're drawing a ping. So we have to deal with the ping sooner than later. So if that's the case, we'll just do Muse into Coalescence. So we'll search our heap for a Coalescence and just keep going. We can't get oppoed, but whatever, we'll take the money. Or like a series of vignette in Common Universe that's something with a central narrative or theory to tell. Yeah, basically every cycle usually had a meta narrative that was cohesive, but not very commonly did we see cycle or narratives between cycles interact. If you want to get Netrunner narrative too, there were like novellas that were put out. I've read one of them. I don't think they're gonna be easy to find anymore. Can get Oppo trash Urtica? Oh yeah, we did trash something, didn't we? Bump HQ. I don't want to bump last click. We don't have a breaker. We can't deal with ping. Not a huge interest. Like we'd rather burner, but we want to wait till we get our SMC next turn. So that's ping into something. Again, we don't really have to run this, but it's ping into something. If it's a card, can we lose on the table? Not really. Monitor was the best one. Jackson Howard's in it. Monitor is the only one I've read, which was the Lee Alexander one. I think that's Lee's name. It was many, many moons ago. Okay, so either of these could be a ping. What would we lose to on the table? If it gets a free advancement, it could be like business as usual on top of a 4-2. 2 cards in hand. All right, so let's just be able to break a ping. So if that's the case, we'll just install SMC to draw a card. Nice. Just trick shot. Oh wait, it used to be so easy. Could be a virus. I think we'll just conduit here. We can't lose the credits of Mesna Chesvo. Double Mesna Chesvo, oh, that's expensive, but we'll be fine. So that's the ping for sure. They also don't have a lot of money anymore, which is kind of good for us. So we definitely break this one because it's credit positive. And then this one we could break for 8 credits. It's fine. They seem to have a fair few agendas in their deck. Install a propeller. Yeah, it actually might have been worth it. It would save a couple credits that we SMC propeller immediately. Turbine also helps a bit, but we want the propeller because we know this is the thing that ends the run. So it's a bit too late, but yeah, propeller would have been totally fine. Basilisa, Mesna Chesvo, Amani Sanai. Oh, that's frustrating. That's really frustrating. Is it Cyberfeeder that's putting in those bold orange lines? Yes. Yeah, it makes them bolder. It's one of the things. Highlight makes this more obvious, which is good. So I think we just spec work here. Now we'll probably SMC on his turn. If this is a 4-2, we're fine. It's hard for us to lose. Chip. Oh, chip is really good. Yeah, because we've trashed. So I think we'll simul chip. We'll SMC on his turn and then simul chip for a Coalescence Muse on his turn as well. I was hyped for Pub Runner tonight, but everyone bailed. I'm here making salads and investing my health. I guess that's because everyone played this weekend. That happens pretty commonly. MU issues? Yeah, maybe. So it was a business as usual, and the card in server 15 is advanced. So it is a 4-2. Crypto crash. Oh, we could have interacted with that, but not really. So it was a 4-2. We could have just ran that. Feels bad. So now we really have to get out of here. So what do? Purge the conduit too. Wait, that's sick. Ow. Oh, I slipped. Oh, that really hurt my foot actually. So it's on their turn. We now lose to any of the post-truth dividends. So things are slipping. I think we should have just ran that. I think we've seen so many traps that there's no reason not to run it. We've seen 2 Urticas, 2 Checkists. We should just run everything. So now any 2-1 loses. We need to get back in the money. So we can just pawn the SMC. Running this is way too expensive. So they managed to score out the agenda and purge our conduit. So the conduit sees 2 cards from the top of the deck. We can run HQ. The problem is like if there's an agenda in there, it doesn't go anywhere. Like we have to burner it. So we can just like run HQ. Now it is our turn. So we pass the priority window. If we SMC for a Muse for Coalescence, it's not great. It draws a card. I think we could just use SMC on the Cezve and just run centrals here and not pawn anything. Yeah, weird. I think the EV testing is also too slow. We know one of these cards in hand. We know 50-50. Ping. Okay, that's fine. We can still lose to the table. So this means we can use our ability to install. We'll break. So it's 50-50. We know every card besides Silver 5. So it probably just goes on this message Chessel, right? Shit, that's the card we knew. Oh, it goes on this one. So we lose to Trickle 8. We lose to this being an agenda, but they would have done something with it. I'm struggling. I'm struggling to keep mentally afloat here. Like this could be an agenda. Again, we've seen 2 Urticas, we've seen 2 Checkists. This is a Checkist, this is an Urtica. We don't lose the Trigger Light because they don't have it. We don't know 1 card in hand. But that means that they don't have it, because it either has to be the Trigger Light or the 3-2. Might as well install the Enviro for Ladra. No, because it costs 3 credits. Yeah, we know the deck, exactly. So we know that Parahelion's not going to draw into it. Summon chip for Aesop's fodder? Yes, we can do it, but we don't have to do it now. We can either run Archives, but this is the same as clicking for credit. We could run HQ again. We could burner. Alex, how's it going? We could, but we know the top of the deck, and we don't know the other card. Can Aesop's environmental? Yeah, but it doesn't seem like it's going to do a lot for us. It's a click for nothing. What are we doing here? So we want to use a simul chip. That shouldn't be hard. Ugh. Let's just keep drawing. I think we're going to probably burn our next turn. We could just lose to this. We probably should clear the tag. So now simul chip into Muse into Coalescence is actually expensive for us. Oh, that's a bummer. So we shouldn't clear the tag yet. So we'll do Muse into Coalescence, which costs us 4 to gain 4, but we sell for 3 immediately. So I feel like we've proven that this deck is pretty bad. The Cezve influence is the influence that we use to interact with the game unfairly. Things like Copulation and Hush and all that sort of stuff. It costs 2? No, but it costs 4 up front. Like, you need the money. Oh, it does cost 2. Yeah, you're right. Never mind. The Muse is free. Yeah, 100%. We could have done it. It's fine. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, you don't pay for the Muse. Of course you don't. I feel like environmental testing might be too slow. During the archive run for coffee, it's the same as clicking for a credit, right? Like if we click for a credit, we have a credit. If we run archives, we make a credit. Tag, yeah, we'll clear the tag. I think we just draw clear the tag. Nice. We keep that. Tag, yeah. It's not super important, but we'll clear the tag for sure. They have now, and what's coming up? The top of the deck is now an Amani Sanai, because we saw 3 cards. No, the top of the deck will be an Amani Sanai. They have a Vasilisa in hand, a Mestachesso in hand, and 1 unknown card. We just don't know Server 5. Jad, how's it going? Have you tried the high-res card images option in the JNet settings recently? No, did they change it? I know that's been around for a bit. How are you doing? Let's try it. We might need to do a new game that didn't seem to do anything. Are these higher? Wait, these are better, aren't they? Oh, but we went back to ugly mess. We went to the wrong Mestachesso, JNet. Uh-oh. So this is the Mestachesso they don't want you to see. But these do look nicer, don't they? Enviro testing too slow, he says after installing 3 programs this turn. Yeah, I know, but we didn't have the credits. You're not wrong. All right, so now R&D is locked. Yeah, we have the bad message, so let me just cover that. Oh, I have to cover everything. So that's the Amani Sinai. So that's a problem. We need money. So environmental testing was okay here. Okay, 7 credits. We're pretty sure that's an Amani Sinai. We're pretty sure this is a ping. They would have won the game if this was any agenda, so we don't have to worry about it. If we run R&D, this is, again, now it's boost, boost, break, break, boost, boost. This one's free. This one's 7. We see 1 card. Now it's definitely too late. That's the problem. It's like now you get into the hole where now it's definitely too late because we've spent most of our install stuff. Like it is unfortunately just be like that sometimes. So we can start with the Coalescence. It gives us 3 credits on card draw. It's not too late. It's so too late, Veru. Money really doesn't matter this much. No, it doesn't matter a lot. So we'll just draw. So we're pretty sure this is the money. We know all cards in hand but 1. If this is an agenda and they advance it, like then we have a problem. So I think we just run R&D here. We should diesel for a dirty laundry, I think. Uh-oh. Imagine we played the environmental testing. Install pressure spike also decrease cost of breaking the Messy. Yeah, but at what cost for us? Like we have to pay 4 credits. We only want to run R&D like twice more, maybe. Play it now? Alex, I'm pretty sure there was chat delay there. I think we actually do environmental testing simulchip pass. We could lose to this table. It's unlikely. Because there's 1 more 3. Oh, it could be a 2-1. They could top deck a 2-1 at any point, actually. They have 1 more 2-1 in their deck. They don't have it. So it's 2 credits each time? Yeah, but it costs us 4. So Amani is in one of these servers, unknown in another server. We'll check the unknown server at a minimum. Take clicks. We'll pawn the Muse. We have 9 credits. We have the Echelon in hand. Cost 3 because Diza. Yeah, but we already used Diza that turn on Coalescence. So we can't break sentries. We know that the hand was Mesnachoso Vasilisa. So we can install the Echelon. Draw a card. Run the remote. Sentry on 3? Yeah, Vasilisa. Ping? Okay. So that was one of the unknown cards. So the hand still has Vasilisa and Mesnacheso. We'll definitely break that. We're actually using counters, which is not great. There's a Q-Loop deck. Yeah, we just haven't drawn it. We're 3 Cezves, 2 Q-Loops. If this is a Monty, we have to run server 15. It's a Spin Doctor. So now we have to run HQ. Luckily, that means we still have to make a successful run here. But that means Burner can just win the game. And we can always simulchip for clickless 7 credits if we want. Because we can just do Muse Coalescence. We'll have to trash a couple of our cards, but that's not a big deal. Tricklight, Urtica Cypher went back in. Yeah, so now we Burner. They're on 1 credit. They advance the Mesnacheso, so we just Burner and clear the tag if we don't win. Or nearly win. We actually are going to run out propeller counters. Like, we would need the turbine at this point, which is in the heap, I think, actually. Yeah, we threw it out turn 1, so we might simulchip the turbine in. Vasilisa, Tree Line, Mesnacheso. Okay, so not all the high-res art is working. Now, none of these are particularly good. Vasilisa, we probably want to put on the top of the deck so they don't draw into a win condition. Mesnacheso, that's too expensive. This could be an NGO front. I'll put Messy on the bottom. Actually, Tree Line's more worrisome for us because our Fractor is limited. And we'll put Vasilisa on the top. Now they're only on 1 credit, but it could be NGO front or anything. We so far haven't found a reason to clear the tag. We can simulchip this turn, but we can also simulchip next turn for the turbine. That might be better. So I think we're just going to remove the tag here. We've wasted so much value on these Cezves. Yeah, turbine will make running R&D cheaper too. Click for 3. Okay, so they were on 2 credits. No, they were on 1 credit. So this is not a 3-2. None of these are 2-1s. So back to us. I'm glad we played environmental testing. We'll sell that. So now we can simulchip for bad publicity. So thinking, if we run R&D, this costs us 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, well, potentially less. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can break for 9. So we run, we have 10 credits. If we simulchip for our turbine, will cost us 1 credit, but it'll save on Unity. Unity is boosting. Oh no, it's, yeah, shit. No, this actually always breaks poorly because we always have to boost even if we have turbine down. So we break each of these for 6. Where's our third Cezve? Wait, we actually break Message Cezve for 6? Message Cezve was so messed up. It's so good. So we have to boost, pump, break, lose 3. So it's just 6 credits a pop. We only have 1 burner. Amani's a 915. They could have a 2-1 in hand, and we just missed it. Like, clicking for 3 credits makes sense if they have a 2-1 in hand. Or this is a Vlad grid. Well, if it was a Vlad grid, they probably would have used it, I'm assuming. So they might just have a 2-1 in hand. So we can just get accesses on HQ. That's also kind of fine. If that's the case, we can do prognostic Q loop, simulchip, and just touch HQ cards. We have a 1 in 4 chance. Yeah, I think that's fine. We will look at the top of the stack. In theory, I want a simulchip for Cezve, but there's no window. So we're going to have 2 dirty laundries. We'll draw one of them. So simulchip here for the turbine. Actually, it's not super important that we get the turbine. Oh, it means we can get through ping infinitely. So I guess we have to. So we'll go grab the turbine for free with the with the Cezve. You can deck the credit loss and break with Cezve. Yeah, that's true. So we have a dirty laundry on the top. Oh, it was free because of DZ. Excuse me. Another Message Cezve, so we know that. So we know their hand is Message Cezve, Vasilisa, 2 unknowns. Messany's good with Mantle or Cezve as the counter. We have it. Like, only sort of? Like, we don't want to be on 0 credits. Like, being on 0 credits is bad for us. We also don't think they're on 3-pointers. So now if we dirty laundry R&D, we have an MU issue. This Muse is hard to play. But if we dirty laundry R&D, again, we lose 3, we're on 11. Like, we can't do it. We have 4 cards left in our stack? Oh, Cezve's in the bin too. All our simulchips, all our muses, 1 in hand. Ooh, this is ugly. We just don't have enough pressure. That's why we play deep dive, folks. We don't know the top of the deck. I think we'll just dirty laundry HQ here. We'll just run HQ a couple times to try and read everything. Unfortunately, we know half HQ, but half the time we see something new here. You have enough pressure? I'm not sure. Resident Amani, so there's an agenda in here. We have the credit lead. That is 2 credits they need. So there's definitely an agenda in here. Vasilisa. So we'll run HQ more. So again, that's the 2 cards we know. We've been touching them. There's an agenda in here for sure. If it's a 2-1, we lose the game. So we have a 1 in 4 chance. Fuck. You run R&D every turn? I think we should just lock the table and lock the deck. They could have res Amani as a bluff, but I'm assuming they have an agenda in hand here. The thing is, like, we run HQ 4 times for free. Okay, so we don't know what that is. That's cheap to check. The most it could be is 3 damage. Aesops will not pawn anything. I think we pawned the prognostic at this point, honestly. Yeah. We know there's a dirty laundry on top. They have an agenda in hand, so we'll run this. We'll run the hand. If they top like the 2-1, we lose. You could probably pawn the conduit at some point. I think we need it to win. I think we need to make every run better than a single axis. If we're on game point, maybe, but we're not. Okay. So trace 4? It's fine. So that might have been the card in hand. We also have a link because Lat's good. So we still know half the hand. Message Cezve. We probably should run R&D. Stop showing us the same cards. Will we run R&D last click? We can hit snare? Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. We just need to get our conduit working for us. I don't know how much this is going to cost us. Probably a lot. So Unity break. We might as well use the Cezve because we're not going to duck it. Cool. That's scary. They could just have it in hand if they have the last 3-2, which would be the... There's no way they're not playing it. They drew. So now there's 3 unknown cards in hand. Install. So we don't know what the install could be. That's definitely the top deck. Could be a virus, pawn something here. Honestly, no. The DZ trashes one of our cards. Like, we can't afford to run this. The good thing is they have agendas, they have nowhere good to go. Hurt us. Math. Uh-oh. You can't afford not to run it, though? Yeah, I know. Like, we have to run back for a double axis. But we're going to be bankrupt soon. If anything, we trash the echelon. Yeah, totally. We haven't seen any tag punishment, so like if this is the last checklist, how bad is it for us? I don't think we care that much. Oh, it's a Vlad grid. Okay, so they can score by using Vlad grid and then some combination of business as usuals. They've shuffled one back, they have two in the bin, so we have to deal with this. So now we just run HQ a couple times. Otherwise, we can run this, lose 3, we're on 2 credits, and then we boost, break. Math. What's the math here? So message justifiers were on 2 credits, and then we boost once with Unity, break the end to run, break the lose 3, and then we can't lose the second message justifier, so we can access on 0 credits if I've done the math right. The math is hard to do. Again, lose 3 to message chesvo will put us to 2. Unity will boost with our second last credit. We'll break 2 subroutines. Actually, we'll only break 1 subroutine because we don't need to break the first one. Yeah, don't bother the first one. Then we'll continue. We can't lose 3, and then we just do boost break. Yeah, we'll see 2 on R&D. This costs us functionally 5 credits, which is still a lot. But at least we can do this cheaply from now on since we're bankrupt. So we'll match strength, not use those. Very important to understand that these credits you can't lose because they're not in your credit pool. And then we can still run HQ here, I think. Come on. Fuck. So we can run HQ. Andre and Shaper, 2 great tastes that don't taste great together. I take offense to that, Jeff. I enjoy playing Shaper as much as the next person. All right, so we can run HQ for free. Otherwise, we click for credits, which is not totally useless against Messna Chesvos. We know the hand has Vasilisa, it has Messna Chesvo, it has Tricholite. So it's unlikely that we find points in there, but we know there's points in there. At one point, it could have been the remastered. So we'll go for shots. You can pawn Echelon next turn. Yeah, we know they have a Vasilisa, but we can always pawn the Echelon in a panic if we need to. Yeah. Yeah, we spent 1 counter, whatever. Great. We learned nothing. Maybe that's all they have. So now he's top decking another card. So we know that he has in hand as well. Did our chat log break? Why doesn't it show us what we accessed? Wait, did Cyberfeeder break? Purge? That's fine. Now we just click for 3. Or for 4. Because they don't have the win that turn. The top of R&D is whatever card we saw. I think it was like another ice. We can run HQ for free. Now, how much does it cost to run this? Again, boost, break, boost. Oh, we run R&D for free. We run R&D for free? Yeah, you want to get the content grant. Alex, I didn't realize it's free. And then we'll click for cards, yeah. This is just so many clicks. This is free. Mind if we just mash through it? Too much clicking. So what I said like 5 turns ago? Yeah, but it's only if you bankrupt yourself, which is not a great spot to be in. But if they're going to purge, it seems like they don't have it. Yeah, exactly. So I'm just not going to touch them. All right, so if you're watching, we're just getting through this so we don't have to click on 17 different things because it's like boost, break 1 subroutine. Which subroutine? What do you want to use? Cezve credit. Do you want to not break the subroutine? So we'll just get our conduit, click for 3. So this is some ice. Oh, no, it's Vlad grid. And then we'll just click for 3. Click for 3 is kind of bad, but we can always like, it gives us some threat that we can run the table. I think though, Harp 5 turns ago, it wasn't fantastic because we had to trash a Vlad grid or we lose. We have to like deal with some things. They have one unknown in hand, like cards go into the server. This is probably the Vlad grid. Now, if they have the last BAU, they might have not played it so that they can purge. Like they might not have played it and purge manually, but we're assuming this is the Vlad grid, which means if we don't run an R&D and they have the agenda in hand. I got a report that Cyberfeed has remembered accessing Rahi is working the whole time, and now it's stopped, and I don't know why, but it's been working all today. I changed to the full art, res art, which means we're getting illegal mess in Chesvo, but it stopped remembering at some point. I'm not saying you should have done it. I don't think I'm going to pawn the echelon. So we're pretty sure this is a Vlad grid. We can check it for 1 credit, but then it gets its double advancement, but it's going to get its double advancement no matter what. Take a look. Rahi, you're the best. Thinking. So we're assuming this is the thing that we have to trash. The trash that we have to do credit, run. That's probably correct. I think we do credit, run, and then run HQ. Or sorry, R&D. They could just have drawn it there because they did break lock, but this should be a 4 credit trash. If it's a really cool checkist, so be it, but we're assuming we trash this for 4. Yeah. And now we have no money, which is where we want to be. Click conduit. I've been getting better at that. So, free break. Just don't want to click. Again, we can't use the credits of trash cards. This keeps getting bigger. I wonder if it is like maybe next turn it can be a false flag. That would be the only thing we lose to. Uh-oh. False flag, you have to res, right? They're saying wow, which means I don't think they have it. So false flag is a 3 influence Weyland ambush that you advance. Then you have to res it and they have to put 3 more advancements on it. So they have to pay 5 and a click. So they can't do it this turn. Yeah, 7 then click. I just forgot the res cost. So this could be the Vasilisa, could be the Mesta Chesvo. Even if we force a res, I don't think they have it. What do we see on top of the deck? We actually don't know what this card is. We have no idea what this card is. So if that's the case, we probably have to pawn something. Maybe with Trickle Lights? Oh yeah, with Trickle Lights, yeah, he could have done it. So we just don't know what this is. We're assuming that this is the Mesta Chesvo, which we force a res. It also could be the last ping, which is unaccounted for. I think the ping is here on Amani Sinai, but I don't genuinely know what that is. Because that is a card that did break lock. Unfortunately, I'm counting on Cyberfeeder and it's not showing up, so now I'm losing forward progress. It could have gained a click by trashing Amani, which is now useless. What do you mean gained a click? Yeah, credit works if we run this, because we just have to do boost break. If it's a ping, we'll float a tag, and I don't want to float a tag into self-growth program. No, ping is fine too, because then we do credit, clear tag. The question is whether we sell the echelon. I don't think we do. So Vasilisa, we break for 1. So I think we do credit, run. Oh no, but then we have to float the tag. I guess if we do credit, run, we can always like install behind the ice, protecting the money, not needing to install an ice. Oh, if they trash the money, yeah, he might want to trash the money. So this has to be better than a ping. So it's probably the Mesta Chesvo. So we can do credit, run. If it is the Mesta Chesvo, which we think it is. Do we think 15 is a ping? Yeah, I think 15 is a ping. This is a Vasilisa or something. So we'll just run this last click run. If it's a checkist, we'll take 2 tags. But if it's a Mesta Chesvo res, we can just back off. So now we have to think. We're going to make a successful run no matter what. We can break this functionally for free because we lose the credits. Anyways, and we can touch what this card is. If it's a Rashida, we can't trash it. If it's an agenda, we can touch it and win. So I think we just do it because we're going to lose the credits anyways. And no matter what, he's getting an advancement. The worst case is that this is the last checkist. But yeah, there's one more checkist. Oh, it's just GG. Okay. Weird endgame. Very strange endgame. Our deck is bad. Feels like you cannot leverage running centrals. Do you know what we should honestly be? Padma. We want to get value from running centrals. I think Cezve and Padma might make sense. Yeah, for sure. I was always afraid you'd have another post-truth. You have it? Maybe I shouldn't jam there, but breaking lock will be super hard. I think you have to do a double ice or something. Because I always start with little credits, but I was considering owning the echelon. That actually makes sense. Akiko doesn't have the influence. Yeah, it actually makes sense. Because if we run R&D, we actually make credits off of like keeping a coalescence around. Akiko just doesn't have enough influence. Akiko has like what, 10 or 12? 12, I think, which means we can't play the Cezve prognostic engine. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I saw a lot of cards. I kept seeing the same from HQ too. Yeah, Akiko has 12. Can we ask what server 5 was? Oh, it's an Urtica. Okay. Parahealing King Rest. This was an Urtica. Cool. We never run it. If you advance it enough times, Parahealing, we have to run it because we think it could be a false flag, but I think we saw enough influence. So yeah, it was Urtica, Checkist. So the one card we didn't run was an Urtica. And the hand was Self-Growth, Triggerlight, VSA, Basilisau. So we saw the whole hand. The only card we didn't see was the agenda on the table. Nice. We've been streaming for 3 hours and 14 minutes. We can definitely try this in Padma really quickly. What's another good charge target in Padma? Like Cataloger? So far this deck is bad, and what it's showing is you, like, your game plan really needs to make running centrals make sense, and that's not very easy for us. And so, like, having Padma, which maybe slows the corp down because they ice up R&D, maybe that's bad for us. It's hard to tell. Resing on money early was to try to get you to waste time in HQ. HQ was pre-ice. Oh, super cool. It was free, but you did play me there. Yeah, so they didn't have agendas in hand. So they just res the money to make us think that he did, which is pretty cool. Twinning, we can't spend any influence, Alex. We can't play Twinning or Wake because our whole engine is prognostic Cezve, which is like kind of silly. I don't know. Yeah. Thanks for the game, man. Yeah, good game. Only 11 cards left on R&D. How many points have we seen? Only 14? All right, 6 points, 11 cards. Kind of high. All right, how do we make this really quickly into Padma? We didn't draw prognostic till bottom 6, so engine didn't go vroom. Yes. And then we also ran out of MU, which is also an engine issue, because I think we had 2 DZs in the bottom. Let's duplicate this. Arthritis Hotel for Padma? Hey, Poldrix. Yeah, maybe that makes sense. It's really expensive up front, and we're bad at big, expensive installs. Especially now because we have to leave 2 credits on our coalescence every turn. We'll see. The card draw is definitely good. But let's try and just Padma this out. So this is Padma. What makes sense in Padma, what doesn't? I think we can't play Burner. I think it's just a slots issue. We definitely, environmental testing, pawn shop, very, very important. Nuka and or Cataloger. Yeah, Nuka's better than Earthrise would be my guess. So we could cut Diesel for Nuka, and that might make sense. The issue is like the prognostic gets worse. So maybe we could cut prognostic, but then why are we doing this? Maybe Nyash instead of Conduit, because we're probably not getting repeated R&D runs before we get purged out. Yeah, I like that. It's also cheap. It's a slots issue though. But if we play like maybe 2 Nuka, 1 Diesel, does that make any amount of sense? We could play Hyperbaric. We could play Cataloger. I kind of like Cataloger better, Rohit, I think. Hyperbaric might make sense over Unity now. We'll try it because it's fun. My guess is no, because it's only good once you have everything else set up, and we don't even have an overclock. Yeah, without an overclock, I don't think there's a way that we can play Hyperbaric and feel good about it. The issue is if we play Prognostic, we also don't want to play like Into the Depths and all these other cards that like kind of make sense abstractly, but not really. So like, is Cezve just good enough on its own without Prognostic? If our goal is to run R&D every turn, there's a chance that we could save 6 influence and do whatever we want here. Because this is probably the worst part of the deck is like, do you draw this? We can charge environmental, we can charge Nuka, we can charge coalescence. Maybe that's enough. Do we cut conduit for 2 copies of Cataloger, which doesn't take up MU? Doesn't fire lily pad, but doesn't take up MU. Maybe. I wonder also like 3 SMC makes more sense in the deck because we have 3 Cezve. I think there's a chance it does. Not that we're installing with Arasana, but SMC into Cezve is like kind of the thing you want it to do. So maybe that makes sense. If that's the case, we don't want to play 46. Do you add flex capacitor? Matt, I don't think we do. It's like just a card that doesn't do anything unless you have a specific board state set up. And then you can break ice set up or get through ice, right? Like it just wants you to do a lot. I think if we played Arasana, we would play Trojans because Trojans work really well with Cezve, but we couldn't make it make sense. It was just too many slots that were non-Trojans. Like what we'd probably have to do Arasana is like play no events and just play all the Trojans. I feel like this version is definitely going to be worse, but it's going to be more fun. Let's go Wolf. I don't think Cataloger is full Wolf though. 40. Oh, I can't play 46. Let's play less draw. Airblades. For what it's worth, Airblades is pretty good in the last couple matchups we played. Lobby. Huh. It's infinite, yeah, but it is also like the thing that you're making your ID text to, which like I think I'd rather play Hush if it comes to that. How bad is Lobby? Getting down Lobby is going to be incredibly expensive. We'll never recover from it. We can always charge Lobby. Hard to say. Okay. So we have Nuka for charge. We have Diesel for charge. Sorry, we have Nuka for charge. We have environmental testing for charge. We have coalescence for charge. I wonder if we move off of Pawn. No, we probably still play Pawn Shop. Cat, I'm doing okay. We're playing like bad Shaper rigs, so like mixed. How are you doing? How was the weekend's event? Or was that last weekend now? I think it was this weekend, right? I do like Burner. People don't see it coming because they don't ice HQ into Padma. Spec work pulled its weight? No, honestly, it hasn't. I think I'd rather have a hedge fund or sure gamble. It hasn't felt good. It surprisingly has felt bad. It was fun. I won. Ari's hard. Ari's a lot of fun. I know you're playing like deep dive Ari. Stressful but fun. I like it a lot. I'm gonna try it to sure gamble. The spec work hasn't felt fantastic, especially now because this rig actually wants to keep a coalescence around. There's a chance that Muse is bad and we should play off of Pawn Shop and play something else. But this will give us a bit more consistency in the early game. Maybe citation needed. I don't think we want to play less draw. How do we face check safely? Like we can't play flip switch, but what would we face check in as the drafter on turn one? Like, are we just cooked? No, we have 3 SMCs now. Maybe we cut a Muse. Is creative better than gamble in this deck? Yeah. Well, sort of. Gamble's really good because you can like turn one set up your lily pad. That's one of the big deals. Now you can always set up your lily pad and then like recover with creative, but I actually do like gamble a fair bit because it means like we can turn one have a good play. Because that's the issue. Our turn ones are really ugly because we need burst economy. So like this hand we could, well, this hand doesn't change that much, but imagine this unity with the lily pad. We can do like sure gamble, lily pad, coalescence, ace-ops, and that's such a good setup. Right? Like obviously I just invented a hand, but that's the sort of hand that Creative Commission can't do consistently. You'd have to do like lily pad, click for credit, do that. It's not that much worse actually, but then you can't pawn shop. It's like kind of comparable. We'll see if we're in the mud, if we're stuck sub 5 credits for a bit or not. It's an easy thing to like get some good information on. Muse is really good because of our recursion engine. Like it's probably so much better we cut prognostic Q-Lip and play like Revolver. Oof. Yeah, I wonder if we cut prognostic, we play Revolver, we play Akura Pira. I think at that part we're over like slotsing onto charge. For cutting prog, cup sounds good. Yeah, cup's never bad, and you can use Cezve for cup. Let's just try this. I'll cut the burner for now, just to make the deck more consistent, then we'll see if we need pressure. Coffee run, coffee sale. That's the boat verb, right? Jane. Coffee cap. Well, that's good too. How about Kasi string? It doesn't really work with our game plan too well. I think if we're doing Kasi string, we would play like Cataloger, we would play Deep Dive, or we'd play like more ways to get to 6 quickly. Because I think the Kasi string on its own is like a pretty bad draw in most parts of the game, unless like you can build your game plan around it. It's a cool card though. Padma. What's Padma's first name? Captain. Captain Padma. Kasi can work, but not with the conduit as much. Yeah, it's also better with things like Amakua and other weird things you can build around. I don't know if it's a good enough slot on its own, unless the meta is really good with it. All right, playing against Alex playing sports metal. This also, again, might be core sports. Hey, Tom, barely made it to the end of the stream. Hope it went good. It's been okay. We're doing like weird shaper stuff, so mixed bag. Playing against a world champ. Thanks, man. You too. Ours unkept. What's our hand here? We have early Cezve, we have early Coalescence, we have DZ, we have Pawn Chop. This seems good. The problem with this hand is we have no card draw and sports can be fast. So I saw like one of the events. There's like some event last weekend in the West Coast, and it was like 8 players, a couple world champs, I think. Half the field was sports metal. Could be core sports, I'm not sure. Ice up R&D, it's already a disaster for us because we don't know how to interact with that. So what are we doing here? I think we do DZ into probably the Coalescence as our start because we have the Pawn Shop. We don't really need the Cezve here. Oh, I thought this would draw us a card. It doesn't. That's fine. So we can like Dirty Laundry HQ. Actually, we should keep a counter on the Coalescence until we're going to use it. Just because we can charge this. So we can run R&D and force a res. If it's a drafter, it's not that bad. If it's a gatekeeper, we need to get resed. So we can charge this. Again, you can't charge a card without counters on it, which really sucks for Padma. But if this is resed, he can't res this, probably. So we're okay face checking. It could just be like core damage on turn 1. Oh, this is going to be hell. It's a Meridian. So this is going to be massive negative points. Combo. All right, well, Padma gave us 2 credits. Is that good? Hard to say. We definitely need a draw here. I don't think we care about the pawn shop. We have enough money in hand. We just need to set up our engine. No Rashida? No face check. I don't want to face check last click because drafter is bad. Gatekeeper gives some options. So there's a Meridian there on R&D. Could just take that as negative points. It's been a while since I've seen this. This does rotate. So gain 4 credit and end the run, which is pretty bad. Or we add as a -1 agenda point. Now that takes a card off of R&D. But this board state seems similar to the last one. Yeah, I think we do just eat that and say, well, I don't care. We could muse into a conduit. I think we don't need to do that. The Cezve doesn't do anything. We need to find our lily pad. Nice. Yeah, right? So I don't think I think we lily pad drops us down to 4. Muse into Coalescence is 3. So we're short. It must be on Giordano. Yeah, and like not stock buyback. What's the other one? The draw up to points in your area. Like this will have Nightmare Archives in it as well. So I think we do run this and then we set up because we'll get 2 credits on this run. So Captain Padma has given us 2 credits so far. Fast break. Thank you, Gyra. All right, we'll just add that. So we're negative points, but Arzan's also on 2 credits. Sports will bounce back. Oh, yeah, right. It is core. I feel like that's a really good steal. Nice. So it is core sports. I do not know the text on core sports, how it plays out. We'll take the 2. Padma seemed okay so far. Look at us. This is like, should this be a criminal identity? Look what we're doing. Just getting 2 credits making a run, Gabe. Except it's on R&D. So here we can set up a bit more. We don't know what this is, but it hasn't moved. And we stole the first salvo testing. We want to make sure we're not running into a Jaguar. We could go back for another single, but I think we want to set up here so we can get both of our triggers. So we can do lily pad. And then we need to install a program. Muse into Coalescence is 3 credits draw a card plus some. Yeah, Jupestat and remote would make sense. We could check it. The card feature seems to work again. Not sure what caused it to break at the glance. I think Raw hates because I changed the JNet settings, but it seems to be broken right now. I might have to do a hard reset on my side, like a control F5. That's my guess. So we'll go from the stack first. Sorry, we'll pull the Muse first. We can't just be greedy here and go grab another Coalescence. It's not entirely necessary. This thins our deck. We could also go for an SMC. Just so that we have a Jaguar, because then we can do Cezve. I think we go for the SMC here and say that SMC Cezve is how we contest. We draw a card. Would this be better as a creative commission? Maybe. R&D still hasn't been res yet. I don't know if it's a drafter. A gatekeeper might have been res by now. So we don't have enough money to jupe stat here, but this could easily be a jupe. So what do we do? 6 credits. You can try some classic turning it off and then on. Some states might be messed up. I think that's probably it. That's my bet. Okay. So we have to plan this turn perfectly. We can always dirty laundry, or we can run R&D. Either way, we get 2 credits. That's good. We can install the Cezve. It's a shame that we don't have our environmental testing yet. That draws us a card and costs us a credit. It means that we'll have credits to use dirty laundry on HQ run. We should face check this turn. So let's just get our money up and face check with the SMC. And if this is res, we might be able to swing R&D. We can't steal Aqua here, but the deck might not be on it if Salvo's in play. Yeah, okay, we can take 1 core damage. We can't take 2 core damage. Okay, taking 1 core damage. This hand's actually pretty good, though. All right, 1 point. So Jupe stat into agenda is 6, so I think we just do sure gamble, run this. If it's a Jaguar, we can deal with it. Echelon, it'll be very expensive, but we can deal with it. We can always panic and take the Coalescence credits. It's a Gatekeeper. Okay, that one we don't deal with, but Alex now is low on credits. So I think we just let that happen. Yeah, that's fine. Cezve run R&D. I think I want to pressure this because if it's Jupe stat into a 2-1, we're in a bad spot. So now we can run R&D. We can pop the SMC if we want to. We're not going to fire the DZ Lily Pad, which is obnoxious unless we pop the SMC on the run. Ontological goes back into the deck, okay. So now we can run R&D here. Drafter still doesn't do anything. Rashid is the worst case. So we'll run R&D, we charge the Coalescence. Will there be another game after this? I need my Netrunner fix. It might be. Depends how long this takes. If you want to play, I'm guessing, right? So no action. Jaguar is what, 4 credits to res? Taking off now, we'll watch the rest later. Have a good stream. Cheers. Okay, hey, thanks, Xnet. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for dropping by. Okay. So we can take this too. So we can choose the SMC here if we want to fire DZ Lily Pad. We can also do it on the corpse turn. Not a huge change. But with this, what will we end up getting? I think with the Cezve in hand, we don't really have to do this. Hengeki, oh, sick. I forgot this card's in standard, but Hengeki is really, really cool because you can Hengeki onto an agenda. Admittedly, with Thule, it's a bit stronger, but we always just access the card, which means we should probably have snare cards in hand. Hengeki is really, really neat because you can just Nightmare Archives Hengeki. Conduit from SMC, oh, that would have been pretty cool, but I think we want to have the SMC as access to go get our breaker because we have to worry about face checking Jaguars because the deck definitely has Jaguars and a core damage is going to have a huge impact on the game. I think we just pass here. We're not going to fire our triggers, unfortunately. Yeah, I forgot Hengeki was the format. Hey, it's back up. Rahi, I don't know what's happening. It's back. I don't know. That's the first time it fired this game. I'm not sure what's the change. So we don't know what this is. We know there's a Hengeki in play. So now we can do Cezve, run R&D, see what happens. We flatline to snare, but like, hey, what can we do? So far we got 2 cards every turn from Padma. I had to get lunch, came back a bit ago. Why the switch to Padma? Because we want to make running centrals our game plan. Okay, it's finally a drafter. So this is still going to be expensive for us. But this is not a great drafter. It just installs a card. Do we just let this fire? This is not a good drafter. Echelon breaks it for 1,700 credits. Now SMC for Echelon doesn't even draw a card. I think we just let this fire. Why would we care about this? This just installs 1 card. Yeah, I don't care. Charging Leaf seems like a nombo with Aesops. Yes, but we can charge other stuff. And for what it's worth, it seems okay. Another drafter. Okay. So we can check server 3. It's probably just some garbage on the table that puts Alex forward. Can't fire snare anymore. We could use Cezve on HQ. We've already drawn and lily padded. So I do think eventually the deck won't be a pawn shop deck. It's a spin doctor. Okay, so there's a drafter in hand. Pay 2 to trash this. This plays around Audacity if we trash this. It might be another spin doctor in server 2 though. I don't think we want to trash it because then the drafter does even less. So we can Dirty Laundry HQ last click. I think that's fine. The Cezve we could use for something, but not huge. We need to draw through a deck. Okay, that's good. We're firing half of our triggers half the time, but we've got literally 8 credits this game. But the drafter's going to be hard to deal with. A prognostic would open this game up, so maybe double drafter. Now the thing is, like, we can jack out if it is the second drafter, or like if you don't res this, we can always jack out and gain 2 credits, which is not, it's okay because we use Cezve. So card and archives could be a nightmare. So I'm assuming we Cezve for our killer as a start, or we could Cezve for the code gate breaker to run server 1. I think that might be better. I think there's an agenda in here on top of a Jupe stat. So that means we should get unity with the Cezve. So we'll run HQ so we can use the Cezve. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my God. Needed to do SMC. I hit the pass button. Yeah. I'll do what I told chat I'd do. Okay. So we hit a hedge fund. We're still going to do the thing anyways. So we'll just run HQ. And then we'll just jack out. Get the unity down that draws a card. Jack out. Cool. That's a really good draw too. on the basis that we can now reset our SMC if we want to. So we have a Unity. Now we can run this. I think we're fine running it. We have good enough credits. We have the money with the dirty laundry to do that, right? Yeah. So now we don't have a killer yet. We can install the simul chip. We want environmental testing really bad. We'll draw once. I can't afford 2 Hendricks at least. I totally forgot about that guy. About those 3. Hey, Kanan, how's it going? Good luck and have fun. I tried building a Padma deck, but could not decide between Earthrise and Dr. Nuka. We're playing 2 Nukas and no Earthrise. I think Nuka is just a lot cheaper. For what it's worth, this is our first iteration, and it's not like it's a deck that we took and shifted to Padma, so it's not like a very holistic good Padma list so far. But this is our first game. We're playing against the world champ, so we're having a fun time, but it looks like Alex is playing something strange as well. Yeah, we did go Padma. Mega Pre, okay. So that's points for both table. And it is a jupe stat, which we have to trash that. The spin doctrine of the table feels a bit bad, especially because the drafters now have teeth. We need to continue to set up. So now I think we'll pawn the Muse, and then we can simul chip back and keep going forward. Because now we have Cezve, simul chip, and we can run HQ. So now we're playing program as. Cezve program as is kind of cool. I'm pretty sure this should be an Arasana list. This is the first time we haven't fired Padma, but like we can't deal with drafter until we get 2 more programs. One of them being the echelon. Hedge fund. Okay, we know 1 card in hand. We don't know what that is. I don't really want to check it. So we'll pawn the Muse. I really want environmental testing like a year ago. It's a 1 in 10 chance to draw one. But what we can do here is we can install SMC. We can run HQ, get the echelon, draw a card. I think that's a good start. Okay. I'd rather run Spin Doctor than Archives on the basis that like Nightmare Archives. There's the 1 card. We did know that. If you get a game with a broken feature, you can send me a replay, and sometimes that helps. You want me to save the replay on this one? I can send it. Okay. Our money is slowing down. I think if this is a 2-1 on top of a jupe stat, it's bad for us, but the first core damage is not incredibly impactful. Ugh. Slightly too late, but not too bad. We've Muse simul chip. We'll be able to get back. We don't have a pawn target this turn, but I think it's okay. Can anyone take over under bets on how many cards in under score area by the end of the game? Ooh, tempo. I'm assuming we're going to lose on like 8 cards in the score area, especially because we don't have pinhole. We don't have a good way to do with Giordano. If we lean to pawn shop, we can try Boytot instead of echelon that chews up drafter. The problem is, NetDev, we've spent all our influence on criminal cards. Okay, so this is going to be fast break. It's going to be jupe stat. It's going to be double, what's his name? Hendrick. And it's going to be an agenda. I don't know how you score the salvo testing. It could be Holloman jupe stat salvo, but that's like still pretty expensive. But this can get bad. It looks like one of these is a spin doctor. Cole is a pawn target. Yeah, we actually probably do pawn the Cole because I don't think Padma is going to matter for a while. And then pay the price. Yeah, I know. All right, so it's just a spin doctor. So I think we do take the Cole essence and pawn it because I don't think we're going to be running R&D before we can get another charge target. Like we can charge the environmental testing if we need to. But we need to get this to 3 strength to deal with double drafter. Spin Doctor was trashed. Okay. So start a turn, we can take these. There's a window, then we'll pawn it. We're on 9. Okay. So we have a whole bunch of things to do. The problem is we have to read Alex's board state, which seems very difficult. So don't know what 4 is. We trashed 1 Spin Doctor, so it could suggest this is a Spin Doctor. If this is a remote server, it could be seamless into an agenda into Jupestad, but running is really difficult. We would want to run on second last click so we don't get eaten by Hendrick. If it's double Hendrick, we take a core damage, but at least it costs Alex a lot of money. We're not on threat, so we don't have to deal with the Jaguar, but we do need to set up. SMC runs remote sounds fine. If that's the case, we want to do SMC run central, so we can use SMC with the Cezve first. Giordano's 8 credits. Yeah, but it forces the Giordano res. Which is okay. And the thing is, like, you can't play Giordano and Jupestad in the same server because they're both regions, I'm pretty sure. Giordano's a region, right? No, it's not. Okay, so you can. It's just a baseball field. Sorry, I closed that bit quickly. All right. So I guess we're getting a propeller. Stop showing me the Hangeki. All right, that means we can do simul chip and we can pop off. This is a good turn to run this though. We have environmental testing. We have 8 credits. That's probably enough. I just want to run last click so we don't have to take a core damage. If it's double core, we force some reses. I think this is probably safe. Server 4 actually might be an agenda. It's a Meridian. We're going to die to snare? No, we're good. Hey, babe, wake up. It's time for your negative agenda technology. Okay. North. All right, let's see what happens here. I don't know what the server is. New card, Hyperloop. Sick. We're on 7 agenda points. Kidding, 7 cards. So it'll be Hendrik. Yeah, there's 1 Hendrik. So we'll lose all remaining. Will we trash this with a spin doctor on the table? Yeah, fine. We can still trash Jupstad. This is the 2nd Hendrik, so we take a core damage. If we trash this, we can't trash Jupstad. So I'd rather trash the Jupstad. It's a sand. Oh, fuck. Okay, cool. We're on 1 core. So you can sand out 3 2s. So maybe it's on Arella. I don't know. But that was a sand city grid. So it's pretty expensive. But fast break is going to be plus, what is it, 2 credits here? So I'm assuming this will just do a Rella combo at some point. We definitely don't need to take our 2nd core damage. As soon as we take a 2nd core damage, we lose the game. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So he might hang Geki first. I don't know, to get another card. Onto's already online. It's a 3-2 though. And a 3-2 is like still with Sansan expensive. But once it's a 2-2, it becomes a 1-2 with Sansan. So it is online, but like only 3-2 online. Fast break doesn't remove itself from the game. That's kind of messed up. We just need to find a salvo testing and we'll have a chance. So we probably need a Padma Centrals. This deck seems wild. Yeah, and like, I don't know what it can do. So like, we have no idea what we should be respecting. Hengeki access the installed card. I mean, we could die to snare. Yeah. It's a Hendrik. So we take a core damage. Oh, sorry. I knew what the card was. Thought that was a new card. It wasn't obvious what card we were accessing. I didn't realize that was a Hendrik. Yeah, how do we know which card we're accessing? It should highlight it. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. So we'll just take -1 point. I just don't want to take 2 core damage. If he showed any other card, I'll touch it because I don't care. But yeah. We still lose pretty quickly. So cool. Fine. Good fun. Great. So how many points are left in the deck? 3, 4, 5. So there's 15 points left in the deck. And we have to steal literally half of the agendas left. Yeah, this card doesn't see a lot of play. It's cool in Thule because it fires. Giordano's busted now? Yeah, we don't have Pinhole. Giordano is just straight busted. We have to win off of a non-Giordano server. We're in a bad spot. We're definitely not in a good spot. So I'm going to muse for Coalescence and then just run R&D. And just ignore the table. Muse will go from our... I'm going to go for the stack because I don't want to draw another Coalescence. I just want to thin our deck. That's good. So now we can just run R&D, I think. Yeah, I think they can win any turn with an Arella combo, but that's why we don't want to take another core damage. So it'd have to be Jupstad Arella, and then we die to Jupstad Arella. So we know there's a Hendrik in here. We probably do have to deal with this, and we have to deal with the Sansan. So we should deal with that. How do we deal with that? Run server 1 now. We want to do it on our second last click because there's a guy in there. So that's the case. We can do like credit run, or sorry, credit run. Do we have to steal 8 more points, then not die to core and we win? Oh, we steal 8 more points, we win, don't we? Okay. So at least we made money get spent, but I think we can die out of the combo out of anywhere. So I think we just run R&D here. Blade of isn't online because of threat. So this gives us 2 credits, so this should be neutral. We can also charge Propeller, which is like kind of cute. There's still more Nightmare Archives. There might be one in the bin. We'll see if Alex Suarez is here. We just need to keep Alex's money down. Now we break this actually making 2 credits because we break this for Cezve and we get Coalescence. We do need a conduit sooner than later. This card's not unique. No, it is unique. It is unique. I still think we shouldn't allow Alex to draw one of those because if you just res that on R&D, obviously we can run their remote server, but we'll die to combo out of anywhere. That card is unique. This card is really weird because it does allow you to make a successful run, which can matter for like deep dive, but you can't touch cards. It has different timing than all the other defensive upgrades. Hangeki. No, it's the which card? Still Hendrik? It's really hard to tell. The chat log doesn't tell you. No. 6 snares in a single game, sure. Credit. So San into an agenda. I still think we have a minute here. The problem is the Coalescence is on the Muse, so we don't have an Aesop's engine. Sports wins on time? On -1 points? Yeah, you're right. That's going to be an issue sooner than later. So the second Cezve is a bit much, but whatever. Ooh, that's good. We don't have MU, so we might sell Cezve. We just need to get a lot of accesses relatively quickly. We don't have our prognostic, so we don't do much. Ugh. It's a Meridian. So how much do we break this for? We break this for 1 credit? I feel like we should just take it as negative points. Does fast break draw your whole deck or is it up to? Draw up to X cards. Okay, so we can't make it a genuine downside. What's worrisome at this point, right, is like we have -1 points, but we've stolen 5. So if we did this, we have to steal 9 points. And there's not that many points in the game. I wonder if Alex does like a restore combo to get rid of 5 3s and just say you can't win the game. This makes Giordano worse. Is this sustainable? This comes in, we break it. I think we actually do break this one. Giordano's already impossible, yeah. But like another agenda point actually does matter in the context of the game. And we're going to break this for free at some point. Elavigao, cool. Oof. We need the conduit, which means it means we need MU. So I think we actually turn Padma off and we sell the Coalescence next turn. If that's the case, we can just run HQ here. Tie. We're winning. Got him. Didn't even draw cards. So Alex might just have the combo here. Yeah, now we're getting comboed out. So we know there's no Arella, but it's an Onto. No Jupe stat, so this is just the whole turn? Okay, so we're pushing the remote server. What does the remote server cost to run? Giordano is 2 for each agenda. I can't tell how many agendas this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's 22 credits to run the remote server. I'll take Coalescence first. I just click the button. So we can do it. Honestly, it might be right to run this. 22 credits. So like, what happens this turn? You can't easily score out a salvo. I don't know what's on the table. But I think we just do conduit, run R&D. And we charge the propeller. Yeah, there is. Yeah, there's a payability window on both players' turns before start of turn. That's where you can like res assets before start of turn. Wolf 2? Yeah, we're gonna Wolf 2. The problem is like it breaks lock. Oh, it's 2 counters. Oh, that's scary. I guess we need a turbine. Oh, even that's not enough. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Can't have that. So now running back sucks a bit. I'm worried that these are actually fast events combo cards. They could be Nightmare Archives, that's for sure. I don't think that's a huge concern for us. What do we know about the hand? I don't think we know anything about the hand, so we should probably run HQ, run the table. Yeah, okay. You aren't scoring out? I think we can. We just have to hit 2 salvos. The problem is like Mega Pre's are really good for Alex. This is a spin doctor, I think. We could be running Hendry class. It's just gonna be really sloppy. It is a spin doctor. So let's see what goes back. I'm assuming it'll be the there's a chance you keep the Giordano in the bin because of ablative barrier. I don't know if we can win with points this time. Yeah, but what else can we do? Like, what do we do? Concede? Spin doctor and unseen card. Oh, okay. So that was an actual agenda. It's hard to check archives. Like, I think Alex can win relatively quickly. We just need to steal like the ontologicals and the hyperloops. This is going to be an ontological, so we did miss that. So we probably don't lose this turn. Okay. Can we get 22 credits? Oh, it's even worse now. I think we just eat the Meridian and win. Turbine run R&D? Turbine doesn't matter. We're just gonna eat the Meridian. How goes it? Bad. Not good. This is the deck, so a bit of a misery simulator, but we get to see some stuff, I guess. Like, we just can't beat Fast Break. So we'll just run Conduit a couple times, see what happens. If Alex draws, hold on. Is there a virus on the table? In the deck? Jaguar, Hedge Fund, Giordano, okay. I mean, we could win. It's unlikely. Maybe they play Fast Break and deck themselves. It says up to, I checked, so they won't. How many Ontos are out? There's one more? Okay. Nice, that's big. I wonder if we die to Jupestad. I guess not on top of the Sand. But Alex could win here. Is Fast Break still legal? 100%. Alex has played 2 this game. It doesn't remove itself from the game. No counter on the Vitruvius, so installing an Elevigao wins. Oh, the last Onto, okay. So the core damage did matter. Kept missing those in hand. So the amount of negative agendas we took, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're at 3 agenda points. We have to steal 7 more agenda points. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Obviously, Alex winning means there's less agendas in the game, but there's just not enough points for us to win the game anymore. I think we should realize that. There's just not enough points in the game. Like, say that these weren't scored out, so it was just 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We have to steal every single agenda to win functionally. No points left in R&D, yeah. Drew into 3 Ontos. Oh, on the Fast Break. Yeah, probably the Fast Break. We should run HQ more. Cup would have been great there. Would it? Yeah, that was miserable. Feels bad. We didn't learn much about Padma. This just seems like a bad Shaper deck. Cup takes a Hangeki, so it matters. Doesn't matter? Do you think it matters if we take 1 less Hangeki? Do you think it changes the game? I don't think so. You can pull a Hangeki and Sweep Hand. Like, Sweep Hand is something. The Cezves were, like, for what it's worth, not bad. But, like, obviously we didn't draw the rest of our stuff. Like, our 2 prognostics we don't draw. So I don't think you can build a deck around prognostic. It just doesn't make sense. So I think you cut the prognostics. And if you want to play Cezve into Shaper, you play, like, 3 Muses. It seems okay. Yeah. I don't think I can win on points anymore. All right. Yeah, that's it's definitely rough. Bring back Shadow Knight of the Data Dealer. Yeah. Lily Pad and Crim is not worth it. No, because you run out of MU. So that's what we first thought, is like, hey, how can we play this in AS? But the problem is like you don't have enough MU. So you have to end up spending your card slots on T400 memory diamond. But like, I don't know if you feel good playing this, because you have to spend at least 6 influence on lily pads, ideally 9. But then like, while you do have really cool utility cards like bank roll and stuff like that, like my imagination is that you run out of MU. Right? It's tricky. Because it would be good if Criminal had extra MU. You could do like Cezve, you could do bankroll in theory, you would do Copulation, you do your Breaker Suite, you do Amakua because you want to run every turn. But at the end of the day, you just have a problem because MU is impossible. Right? Like it's the sort of deck where if we had like a reasonably influenced 2-cost MU hardware like we used to in the day that wasn't a console, like you would consider it. Because you just need, not so much you need DZ, you just need more MU for less slots. Right? Like you just need slots. Melandrium suffers from an MU problem too. Yeah, but Melandrium is not a card that fits into every single deck. I think for Melandrium to make sense, you need to build your deck in a certain way, like deep dive potentially, especially like the last deep dive, where like it is just not as good as Inside Job or Boomerang. That's an issue. Maybe without Inside Job, it's better, but like it just doesn't make a lot of sense because it's not great for the early face checks. It's incredibly expensive. When Inside Job and Boomerang get you. Why is Virtuoso not 2 MU? Yeah, it should be. For 4 cost, I feel like it could be. It'd feel better. Sad violin. Yeah. We saw some cool violin decks recently. Really interesting violin decks. I feel like if we want to play violin, you would just go play the dog pack, because it just allows you to run cheaply, or not cheaply, like without condition on your mark, which is all you need to do with Virtuoso. All right. I don't think we learned too much. I don't think there's gonna be any learnings in this game, unfortunately. Ag Infusion game was a bit of a mess too, but yeah, this is a slog, that's for sure. Just gross. Cool. I think that's it for today. We've been streaming for about 4 hours. It's 4:20. There's the casuals tonight. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it. I'm behind on some other errand stuff I have to get done tonight. But if you're going out in Montreal and playing some games, have some fun tonight. We shouted this out earlier, but we have put up our, it's not this, but this is out, the NANPC participation prize support, the Charlotte Casadora that's coming in. But we have our always be running for the Montreal District Championship. If you're going, if you can take a second to hit the players going button, that does help a heck of a lot. So we know how many people are showing up when it comes to prize support. It's one of the easy things you can do to help your organizers is go hit that button. Otherwise, we'll be updating this. I'll let you know as soon as the link is to buy tickets ahead of time, which should be up this week, and we'll have more prize support to show. NPC is back. Yeah, starts, what is it, April 12th is the first one, Kat? I imagine you might be going to that. Cool. Glad I caught the end of it. Hope you had a good Mardi Gras last week. Yeah, it was really nice. Did some donuts with the family, which is cool. I love this window of 20 days where the streams are 1 hour earlier. Is it that long? Is it 20 days? Shit, I didn't know it was that long. Yeah, for those who don't know, we are on daylight savings time now, so we start an hour earlier for a bit. Apologies for the deck. Oh, Alex, it's okay. It's like, the thing that gets me is like when we're trying to test our Padma deck and see what works, but then so much of the time is spent like, figuring out whatever this other side of it is. It's like, especially because we're techless, like we're largely just playing the most naive runner deck. So it's going to be a struggle. I think chat enjoys it. I think I'm in an okay mood after that. It'll be fine, but don't worry about it. Thanks for the game. You want to take a second to like the stream? That helps a heck of a lot. That's for sure. I also want to shout out all these names here and more. Why are you not playing? Play? Hey, thanks to all these names and more that help support the Metropole Grid on Patreon, including Alex. Realized after I started that no pinholes were a problem. Yeah, without pinhole, like we have no shot. I was considering paying 22 credits to run the remote server, and it might actually have been correct because we can run centrals for free. So why the hell not? But yeah, 22 credits to run the remote server might have been correct because there's obviously an ontological in there, and if I need that to not lose. Yeah, but yeah, we have no pinhole. That's not gonna be great. I think the 15-ish cards in the score area were a bigger problem. Yeah, I think at that point we just couldn't have won. But if we had pinhole, we actually could have contested the remote server or like Clot, like literally any amount of tech that would be reasonable, but it isn't what it is. If you want to support the channel on Patreon, you can find a link in the description below. There's a lot of folks that support the channel. I'm incredibly grateful. All these names, and we have daily cast patrons as well. You can find the link below. Any amount of support is incredibly appreciated. We also do degree mill lessons. If you're interested in one-on-one Netrunner lessons, it is a thing that we do. And while we have limited slots on Patreon, I do also open up slots outside of that. So that's something you're looking for, whether you want to try it out, you want to do it once a month, more than once a month, hit me up for sure. You can find me on Discord, or you can always email metropolegrid@gmail.com if that's interesting, and we can set something else. It was wild that I never fast advanced anything, even with the Res Sansan. Yes, yeah, I know. I was just trying to take the ontos away from you to see if you would collapse inwardly. But yeah, we just could not find the agendas. Pretty rough there. I think that's mostly it. We'll be back Wednesday. Tomorrow there'll be a little video up on the Crash Base Grid. It's Marvel Champions, so you don't have to worry about it. We'll be back on Thursday as well doing a stream. It'll probably be a Netrunner stream on JNet. We'll probably do an in-person stream the week after. I'll reach out to some friends to see if they want to come play in person. Otherwise, on Friday, we'll probably end up doing another Crash Base Grid stream at some point. But this weekend, also very importantly, is the Online District Championship if you want to watch that in Null Signal Games. We didn't even have time to talk about the Eternal Super League this weekend, which was sick. Some very, very exciting games, but that was on this weekend as well. How was I not subscribed to this channel? The Crash Base Grid channel? Cat, it's been really fun. We've been streaming like every Tuesday. Sorry, every Friday just about. I'll also have links to, if you want to watch again, the Reading Regionals was up on Kaku's channel, so you can find that below as well. To this one? Wait, you're not subscribed to the Métropole Grid? That's weird. You can subscribe to this channel too. You'll get a notification when we go live. That's mostly it. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll be back on Thursday. Shame. Take care, y'all.